on News Nation. Let me rewind this and then I can get everything going here. So bear with me, folks. We'll be going live momentarily once I figure out what the hell am I doing wrong with this stuff. Uh, uh, sub only, no sub only, space sub only. We don't want that. Jeez, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay, we don't want that. Uh, I'm not trying to. Okay, bear with me if you guys are watching. It's gonna take a minute or two because I'm trying to turn all of the sub only shit off, and apparently it's not letting me do that. So we should be to go. Okay, let me go ahead and see what's cracking here. Okay, there we go. Turned off. All right. Lot to talk about today. Mainly is because there seemed to be a crack in the Republican Party. You guys are going to watch me with my damn robe on this evening because I'm kind of battling a cold and I got to stay warm. So I'm going to be looking like a weirdly dressed pimp with this Sherpa robe on. So bear with me as I get the program going. But my man cave is cold and I'm still under the weather. So let me see here. We're talking about, man, that Ukraine shit is still going on and it's causing some rifts. And of course, we're going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. That is probably the rage today. So let me get things going here. And we should be ready to get on and cracking because there is looks like some infighting with the Republican Party. You know, one of the things people said with the Democrats having no leadership after, the whole Biden cognitive ability fiasco, and it's now looking like the Democrats were not being honest about Biden's cognitive health. And people were saying, well, that shows, ain't nobody going to ever vote for the Democrats again. I'm going to tell you something. The Republicans may literally be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. There's a lot of shit going on with the Republican Party when they should be really celebrating with the disarray of the Democratic Party. So we're going to talk about all of that. Okay, let me see. I think we're ready to go. If this will go. Yep, going. And we'll go ahead and set up TikTok here. Your family is searching for you, says Manak. No, I don't think my family for me. I'm alone. No one wants me. So no family searching for me. I'm out here in the woods all by myself. So no family. All right, so let me go ahead and start this live. We're going to be on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now, good evening. Welcome to the program. It is indeed your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. I'm all over the place today because I'm dealing with, I'm under the weather still. So I'm having hot flashes and shit like I'm a woman going through menopause and all of that stuff. So bear with me this evening. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to see if I can make it through this live as we did last night. Nevertheless, there is all sorts of riffing going on. And this time it ain't the Democrats. It is the Trump administration. And I do want you, I'm going to come with receipts, but we'll start out Fox News of all places. We like Fox News because Fox News, my MAGA side of the audience, finds Fox News to be somewhat credible. So I don't have to, you present a CNN or MSNBC clip and my right side of the aisle is going to go ape shit. You can't trust CNN and MSNBC, but they give a little bit more credibility to Fox.
Welcome back. Elon Musk taking aim at President Trump's big, beautiful bill. This is it. Faces a lot of opposition from Republicans in the Senate. Musk posting on X, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it."
That's just what he said yesterday. I mean, he's been hammering this. We're talking about Elon Musk. He referred to it. What else did he say? That the bill is going to bankrupt America. Elon is going ape shit. So what do we have here, folks? I mean, how long before Trump's signature pieces of legislation? And I mean, so much so that Trump called it big, beautiful bill, and Elon is just shitting on it. So the question is going to be, to start the program off, how long before Trump uh, pushes back? I mean, is he going to just continue to let Elon trash his signature legislation? How long before how long before Trump starts attacking Elon? Because this is somewhat of a backdoor way of Elon attacking Trump. I don't know if Elon has any problems with Trump. I'm not saying that he has any problems with him, specifically, but he absolutely has problems with the big beautiful bill. He stated that it is going to bankrupt the country. So the Trump administration, President Trump himself, is still pushing this as a good thing. Elon is talking about write your senators, write your congressmen, and tell them to toss this shit in the trash. So unlike a Democrat like Gavin Newsom or Bernie Sanders or somebody, you got one of the main players on the Republican Party that is trashing one of Trump's, basically his signature piece of legislation. This is probably one of the biggest things Trump has done. Because most of the stuff Trump has done has been by way of EO, by executive order. This is actually legislation going through both houses. This is how many other things have Trump did? Okay, the Lincoln Riley Act, that's a no-brainer. But something like this, how many things have Trump did that actually went through both houses? And here Elon is just he sent a lot of shit out today. I wanted to see if I could find, because I didn't have it queued right up, but I believe he stated that this bill would bankrupt. Okay, he said America. Okay, that's not. He said this bill will bankrupt America, and you need to write your senators in Congress or something of that nature. So, what do you think? Do you think these two gentlemen are going to have a falling out, or do you think that Trump is just going to let them trash it and they still will remain on good terms? Because Trump don't normally take well to people trashing shit he does. So we're going to talk about that. And in addition to that, this is something that happened also earlier today. Today's been somewhat of a busy day. And this is President Trump on his own social media page after talking to one Vladimir Putin. Now, you're aware that Vladimir Putin suffered a serious drone strike from the Ukrainians, probably the most damaging drone strike in world history. That's probably the biggest strike. Yeah, I don't know of anything that's been bigger than that. The Ukrainians are good with these fucking drones. They're really good with this stuff. So this is probably the biggest drone strike in world history. Trump talked to Putin today. You know, Trump is trying to secure some kind of ceasefire.
Announcing he has just spoken with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He wrote this on True Social. I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. Those were those Ukrainian attacks on the airfields with the drones. We also discussed Iran and the fact that time is running out on Iran's decision pertaining to nuclear weapons, which must be made quickly. I stated to President Putin that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And on this, I believe that we were in agreement. President Putin suggested that he will participate in the discussions with Iran and that he could perhaps be helpful in getting this brought to a rapid conclusion. It is my opinion, the president continued, that Iran has been slow walking their decision on this very important matter, and we will need a definitive answer in a very short period of.
At what point does Trump actually start putting some meat behind his words? Remember, first he was going to end the war in 24 hours, then he gave Putin 2 weeks and all of this stuff. Now, according to his message here, now Iran is a whole different issue, by the way, but he's saying that Iran might be slow walking their efforts in regards to negotiations. Fact is, Vladimir Putin is the one that's slow walking shit. Vladimir Putin is the one that is trying to stall so that he can continue doing what he's doing in the Ukraine. But what I wanted to talk about is Trump referred to this as a good phone call. Now, Putin is on the phone telling him that I'm going to respond to the drone attack. Here's the words Trump said. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on airfields. Now, the day before the Ukrainians attacked the airfields, Putin was attacking the Ukraine. So respond, shit, you've already been attacking that country. So remember we were told that Biden was a laughing stock of the world, and nobody took him seriously. And when Trump got in office, all of a sudden we now had a respected leader, and people knew Trump doesn't play. Is that what you're seeing on any of this stuff? I mean, I'm just going to ask you folks, because I have a different opinion, apparently, maybe than some of you folks, but are you seeing this where these nations are appearing to respect Trump, whereas he's now been telling the Iranians if they don't come to the table to make a deal about having nuclear weapons, he's going to bomb them. They still said no. So now he's talking to Putin to get Putin to talk to the Ukrainians. Does that come across as the Ukrainians is respecting him? Or maybe yet the Iranians are respecting him? He threatened to bomb the Iranians if they don't come to the table and make a deal, stating they will not try to get a nuclear weapon in Iran. They basically said, screw him. He didn't bomb them. Now he's going to Putin to get Putin to talk to Iran. So obviously the Iranians are not showing Trump much respect at all. He's not able to get anything done, even when he threatened to bomb them. He's not getting anything done. Now, I'm going to say, before we get into the discussion on Putin, Trump, and the Ukraine, I believe personally that the Iranians have a legitimate reason for what they're doing. Trump is the one that broke Obama's, nuclear deal with Iran, and basically said, we're going to break the deal we have with Iran. We're going to offer them nothing but threats. Obama basically removed sanctions so that a lot of Iranian money was free to go back to the Iranians. Trump came along and said, no, we're not going to give you shit. We're going to demand that you hold your end of the bargain, and we're not going to give you anything. And of course, that didn't work. Trump is pretty much just saying my way or the highway. And of course, the Iranians are like, hell no. So now Trump is trying to get the Iranians to come back to the table. And the question is, why would you make a deal with the same guy that broke the last deal? So I don't imagine Trump getting a deal with Iran. I just don't see it. I don't see what validity the Iranians would ever see making a deal with Trump. Trump proved by breaking the deal with Iran that you make a deal with America and it's only as good as the current commander-in-chief. You made a deal with Obama. The next guy who got elected president just said, that's a stupid deal. We're out of it. You make a deal with Trump. Who's to say the next president won't break his deal? So Trump really weakened America's word by doing that. Even if it's a stupid deal, even if you did not like the deal that Obama made with Iran, your word is kind of your bond. That's not Obama making the deal with Iran. That's America. So when Trump came along and broke the deal, he's breaking America's word. They don't look at it as we made a deal with Obama. They look at it as we made a deal with America. And Trump came along and broke it. And then why would you make another deal with America? So I don't think he's going to get a deal with the Iranians. We'll see if he decides to up it to military conflict. Remember, Trump is the guy that's been bragging about no new wars under his watch. That Trump 1.0 was able to brag about that stuff. Trump 2.0 is in all sorts of conflicts. The Ukrainian-Russian war stepped up. The Israeli-Palestinian war stepped up. China's now eyeing Taiwan. Now we're eyeing the Iranians. Shit's breaking out everywhere. This is not Trump 1.0. It's considerably different. Pop Onaya Shelley says, how long? 3 years, 8 months left, Tim. You all right? Yeah, you're right. Trump still has 3 years and 8 months left. It should be a fun ride, but I don't want us to be at war in 20 places at once. And right now he's making, Trump likes to If he makes threats, he likes to follow through. He don't like to look like Taco. Trump always chickens out. But I mean, you can only be involved in so much of this shit at once. So the Iranians have pretty much called Trump's bluff. Successful MD says the fake spats between burnt orange and muscadoodle is just a stage distraction as the fake assassination attempt to appear to be a patriot. So you don't believe what Elon is saying? You don't believe you don't actually believe that Elon thinks the big beautiful bill is trash, like he's telling everybody? You think he's just saying that to stage some kind of fake distraction attempt? I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't know about that. Really? Anyhow, we're going to talk about these items today. As I stated before, I'm kind of under the weather, but we'll certainly start taking calls. Elon Musk just doing that as a distraction, huh? That's something I would have never thought of. Just to, I mean, by the way, that ain't distracting. People can walk and chew bubble gum at once. I mean, all of these international affairs, you're not distracting from me. I mean, because that stuff is all over the news. You can only distract so much. There's a lot going on in the Trump administration. But anyhow, trying to save Tesla, says Gerald MC. I think the damage for Elon is done. I don't think Elon is going to save Tesla as long as Trump is president, because Trump is going to remind it, Doge still exists. All them people still get fired. All of the USAID stuff is still the way it is. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think he can save Tesla like that. But going to the box. Sherbert, good evening. Welcome to the program, Sherbert.
How's it going, Tim?
Hey, so what do you think? You think it's possibly staged, all this shit that Elon is saying?
No, I think it's against his best interests now. And he was getting paid so well while he was in. Tim, it's every one of Trump's first term cabinet members turned against him. Yeah. And it's the exact same playbook. As soon as he's out, well, I can finally say what I feel. And it's hurting him, and he's no longer part of the government, so why would he not say it?
I don't see how Elon would not have predicted what he was doing would hurt his business. I mean, any business CEO, if you get involved in politics, you're taking a side. And he didn't just take a side, then he became very vocal, and you're doing all this shit that's hurting people. How would he not have known that was going to hurt him?
Well, I don't know if the hurting him matters as much as not paying all of the fines and bills that he was going to get from the previous investigations that got killed. He's still ultimately doing better now that he's going to get the airport contracts for the communications, as well as not having all these lawsuits. He's still ultimately on the winning side of this situation. However much I don't like this man, he's winning.
Yeah, but he could have done all of that without being head of Doge and doing all of that public chainsaw shit and all of that. He could have accomplished all of that.
No, I don't think he could have. He needed to be just as crazy as he was to get away with cutting the CFPB and financial and laws and everything else. He needed to be crazy and go in full force, 100 miles an hour, and destroy the system so that he wouldn't be held accountable. Yeah, his stocks are taking a plummet, but SpaceX has made him even more money. So I don't think this is all hype and silliness, really. He might be saying what he believes because it'll hurt the rest of his businesses now with the big, beautiful bill. But how many economists have said, this is not a good bill, this is going to do horrible things for us, it's only going to raise the deficit, even though the entire thing of Doge was lowering the deficit. So now that finally Elon Musk has said it, will any of these DJ Julios or MAGA reacts come back and actually look at the bill versus what Trump has said about it?
Well, let's be clear. If it comes down to having to pick between Trump and Elon, where do you think MAGA's going to go?
Oh, I guarantee they're going to stay with Trump.
Right.
How many ex-administration people have to say, oh yeah, this guy's retarded and he doesn't know what he's doing? It feels like he's playing checkers with a gun in his hand and saying, we're playing chess, right? Right?
Oh my God. Yeah, like Debo or something. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, at the end of the day, That's fucking crazy. But I mean, at the end of the day, if they're gonna go with Trump, then it doesn't matter how many people criticize the big beautiful bill. If Trump keeps saying it's a good bill, MAGA's going to go with the bill.
Fair. This feels even more evidence towards the fact that all of these MAGA people are in a cult. And so, like, Elon Musk finally got out of the cult. Now, oh, shit, I can think again. I better actually say what I think.
Well, I mean, you don't think that Elon was in a cult, do you?
Oh, it was 100. I mean, it was a dual situation. He needed to get out of those lawsuits.
I
and
think
he was part of the cult.
I
You
think,
don't give away $300 million if you're not in part of the cult as well.
no, I think Elon was trying to buy influence. And you mentioned the USAID and all this, the investigations against him. I think what he did was, a concerted effort to save his ass.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But he's got all these other businesses that are going to continuously make government contract money. I don't know why he cares. He's the richest man on the planet. Just go retire in the Bahamas. Go buy 6 islands and go be happy. What the fuck is happening here?
Power. Some people, I mean, the same thing with Jeff Bezos. Some people like power. That was one of the things I often push back against, is that folks were talking about one of the benefits of Trump is that, unlike other politicians, he has his own money. He's not taking a salary. He don't need you. He's already a billionaire. These folks, as you point out, go buy a few islands and retire. They clearly want more money. So the idea that Trump has his own money and he's not taking a salary, so you don't have to worry about. No, that's all that guy's been doing since he's been president, is making money.
Trump is a little bit different of a story because he's clearly a narcissist, and he has to be at these press conferences 24/7. Where Elon and some of these other rich-ass motherfuckers, they don't have to be on TV all the time. They want to be to sell their businesses, but Trump can't not be on TV.
You don't think Elon is a narcissist?
Oh, definitely to a point, but god damn, Trump is the demigod of narcissism.
Well, we like narcissists. We like Trump's demeanor. I mean, we like what
That is not true, Tim. 30% of the country likes narcissists, and the other then there's another 20 that say, I don't know, and the other 30, 40 that are going, fuck this guy, I hate it.
Well, we also
from the beginning, since he went down that gold escalator, I have said, fuck this guy, he's clearly a scammer.
Well,
and then I've never changed my point on that. I've just seen more and more evidence to prove my hypothesis.
Well, let's make it clear. He was offering some good shit. I mean, there are reasons why people voted for Trump. I mean, whether or not he accomplishes that stuff is a different discussion, but he was offering some good shit. Not to mention the whole alpha male perspective. A lot of young men like that. We're not going LGBTQ, or we're not going to be taken over by the blue hair people. We're going to go back to man, woman, all of that. People like that stuff. So,
and I don't like those people, Tim. The same way I don't like Mike Johnson. That guy clearly doesn't have any real beliefs other than God. And so when you can't think critically, I'm not going to be your friend. I like talking to you, Tim, because clearly you do think critically. And you'll argue on the other side to have a good show. But I can see at least that you understand where morality begins. And when I see DJ Julio, I don't see that.
Damn. Well, it depends on who you're talking to, because some folks make it say a whole different ball game with me. They say I don't know what the hell I'm talking about either. But I'm
one of these YT people. I could say something different than Gangster Grandma.
Gangster Grandma is an interesting guess. I'll just leave it at that. Gangster Grandma, I cannot win with. I mean, I'm starting to hear about Gangster Grandma even when I'm talking to people outside of the show. Her name comes up all the damn time. Now I'm like,
it's an appropriate screen name then.
Huh?
It's an appropriate screen name then.
Yeah, I mean, she's a passionate guest.
What's another topic?
Well,
what's another topic we got today, Tim?
Well,
I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah, I mean, the other topic was obviously the Ukrainian war, where Trump is talking about he talked to Putin. It was a good phone call, and it's like, do you really see it that way? I mean, obviously, Russia.
Well,
go ahead.
It wasn't a perfect phone call, like he likes to say. So when you look at Trump's scaling, it was an okay phone call because he at least got to talk to him compared to China, where he was saying, "Oh, we're having great deals," and they hadn't even talked to each other. So you got to think about with Trump's, salt lamp grain of salt of where his scale is. Yeah, it was an okay phone call when it was probably horrible, but it wasn't the perfect phone call.
I think it's like what Double Luck in the comments is saying is that he says every phone call is good. Trump just exaggerates and makes everything sound that he does sound like it's great. I just think that that's just in his psyche to tell you things are going well. I mean, he clearly says that Putin told him very strongly that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields with those drones. So the guy is telling you he about to blow some shit up, and you got off the phone thinking that's a good phone call? I don't understand it.
I thought he was trying to save lives, trying to end this killing. And he has no power. I'm so confused why this snowflake thinks he can actually do anything. Yeah, just because you're a groupie to Putin doesn't mean you can tell Putin what to do.
Bro,
it's like the janitor telling the CEO what to do.
Yeah. He did say 24 hours, so maybe we're in the 22nd, 23rd hour. He did say it can end it in 24 hours.
I think we're in the 20,000th hour at this point.
Well, I made the mistake because I was on Trump's side. I did believe that when it came to ending the Russian-Ukrainian war, Trump would be a better pick than Kamala Harris or Biden, because I thought at the time, and I was saying it on the show, is that Trump had a decent relationship with Putin. It was a more favorable relationship, and he probably could work with the guy to get this to end. Now that he's been in office for nearly 5 months, I don't see it. I mean, they're fighting just as hard as they were when he took office. In fact, they're probably fighting. I don't see where the fighting has scaled down at all since the Biden administration.
You can't see it, Tim, but I'm flipping you off right now.
For what? What am I doing wrong?
You actually thought he could end that war? He wanted to be a dictator, and you thought he would stop the other dictator?
I thought he could.
Started on your side there, Tim.
I thought he might be.
Yeah, Kamala Harris isn't going to shout him down, but Kamala Harris sure would have given Zelensky more weapons to just destroy his ass. It may not have taken 18 months of planning to get this drone strike done if we were still giving them all of the mapping information, all of our CIA information.
Well, I thought Trump was a better alternative than to just keep infinitely giving the Ukrainians weapons. I thought he would be able to make something happen where the Biden administration was looking at an ongoing war for infinity. But now that Trump's in there, it looks like we're looking at an ongoing war for infinity.
10% of the world likes Putin. I'd say 10% of the countries like Putin. This is stats out of my head, so it doesn't mean anything. But the rest of the 90% of the world does not like Putin, and there will never be peace there. Everyone else will give them the weapons and money, and they will fight to the last man until there's a nuke dropped on Ukraine.
Yeah,
I don't know why you thought this would end because Trump said, "Hey, I don't like this."
Because I believed in Trump. I thought Trump had a point. I just heard though.
Well,
I don't know if it was on CNN.
That's why you get the middle finger from me.
Oh my God. All right. I'll wrap it up. As always, Sherbert, I'll take the middle finger with pride. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, Tim.
You too. And by the way, I just heard, I don't know if it was CNN or I can't quote the source, but it's expected that Russia, as of this month, will reach 1 million casualties in that war. 1 million. Think about that. We were at war with Iraq for fucking 20 years or so. How long was it before we left Iraq? I don't think it was 20 years, but how long were we went in 2003? And I don't know what year we left during the Obama administration, I believe. So was it 20 years? 19 Rottweiler says it, because I thought it was 20 years, but you said it, you confirming it was 20 years. And we lost like 6,000 people. Now, deaths in the Middle East was like 1 million, but we went over there and we only lost about 6,000 people or so. Now, there's a lot of American soldiers that are fucked up in the head with PTSD, missing limbs and disabled and stuff like that. But we only lost like 6,000 some odd people. 1 million people. And that war has only been going on since February of 2021. So are you talking, what is that, 4 years? Is it 2021 to 2022? 3 or 4 years, they lost 1 million. I was astonished when I heard that. 1 million people. That's why you hear Trump keep telling you that the death toll is higher than they're telling you. When you hear Trump, now we can agree or disagree with Trump. And by the way, tap the damn screen. We should be around 20,000. Tap the screen, help out the live, helps out the FYP. You know it brings in more MAGA. So show your boy some love. Tap the screen, get the likes up on TikTok. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube, horizontal, YouTube, vertical as well. But that's why when you hear Trump speak in regards to ending the Ukrainian-Russian war, whether you agree with him or not, one of the things he keeps talking about is we need to stop the killing. So, because obviously his briefings, he's probably being given numbers. I don't know how much he pays attention to the briefings he gets. People say he don't read, he don't listen or whatever. But when somebody's telling you people are down like that, I mean, that's got to literally be, and you're talking, it's only 365 days in a year. And you're talking a million, that's got to be like hundreds of people per day. When we were at war with Iraq and Afghanistan, I would watch Meet the Press or This Week with George Stephanopoulos on the weekends on Sunday morning. And at the end of the show, they would show you all of the people we lost in Afghanistan or we lost in Iraq. In most cases, for the whole week, it would be less than 20 people. In some cases, certainly toward the end, 1 or 2, something like that. It was clearly enough they could put them all on the screen. They got to be losing hundreds of people per day in this shit. So when my last caller, Sherbert, said they're going to fight to the last man, that does appear to be so. I don't think we would have the stomach because we didn't lose that many people in World War II. I mean, our biggest loss was the Civil War. I don't think we've lost that many people in any damn. So my guess is that if that was happening here, there would be a huge push in America to end that. How many did we lose in Vietnam? About 50,000 or something, like 1 million people in the span of a few years. Talking about, because people thought Russia was this huge, mighty superpower. They sure ain't looking like that. In the comments, real quick, Supercell Fusion says, Trump ain't shit. Elon Musk realizes that now. Is evil and he went along. He's stupid to see how pathetic Trump is. Well, as my last caller stated, Elon is still making a ton of money. I mean, Elon's got his hand in so many different things with Starlink, SpaceX. Tesla is hurting, but he's making money in a lot of other areas. Not to mention, he might be able to convince Trump to give him government Tesla contracts to replace what he's losing in the free market. I mean, Trump has the keys to the government. It's not like Congress is going to push back. Whitey people is okay, but if I say blacky people, I get canceled. Not on this show, Ed G. If you want to say blacky people, whatever the hell that is, I'm okay with free speech up to the N-word, because obviously I can't control the apps from taking you down. Otherwise, I would say whatever the hell you want to say, but I can't control the apps. They don't want to see that. But if you want to say blacky, go ahead and say blacky. I would like to hear you use it in a sentence, though. Other than, come here, Blackie. That's what people name their dogs. Supercell Fusion says, Trump ain't shit. Mike Johnson is a damn puppet. I'm going to tell you before I take the next caller, my analysis is Congress for Trump, the Republican Congress for Trump, it's all puppeteering in my opinion. It's all puppeteering. I don't think they're going to say shit against Trump no matter what. They're scared of being primary. They're scared of losing their jobs. They're not going to say shit. Going to the box, Mike, good evening. Welcome to the program. I make a lot of money being a corrupt politician. That is the best way to do it. This guy, I became a successful Democrat once I stopped living with my mom. This guy, yikes. You became a successful Democrat. When you're living with your mom, you're saving on rent. Mike, good evening.
Staying with his mama.
Oh,
hey, let the guy in the comments know the reason we say white tea, we use the letters is because TikTok doesn't like the algorithm when we say white. So it's so funny. Why it's white people get so sensitive about, I can call you that, but it's so stupid, man.
Yeah. Here's what I don't like. is you do have a lot of white people or white tea, whatever the proper terminology is for it. People in modern times are complaining that minorities and others are using these words that they made up. Why are you calling yourself African American? You're an American. Well, because you told me I was African American. I mean, they're literally complaining about us using words that they gave us. We didn't come here speaking English. This is all in the King James Dictionary, whatever it's called. You gave us this stuff.
Tim, tell me what they complain about that they didn't create or give us. Tell me something. Tell me something. They complain about drugs in our community. They put them there. They complain about the weapons. They put them there. It's just everything they complain about. If they check their hands, they got fingerprints all over it. Tell me something that doesn't have their fingerprints on it, Tim.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. I posted a chick on my TikTok page that she's wondering why is it that white people always have to diversify in their countries when nobody else does? Why can't they have a country?
I saw that bullshit. I saw that bullshit. She don't even know. It's so many people get on this app or have conversations that that tells you that she either doesn't know the history or doesn't care, because when she asked that question, it's a very simple answer. Colonization. I don't understand what she's talking about. It's literally, anyway. Yeah. I know that's one of.
Just because I said the same thing. That shows when you're not when history is not taught properly. Because just about anywhere you go on Earth, there is some white influence there. Whether it's, as you mentioned, colonization, exploitation, mining of minerals. It's that community. And some believe it's, they civilize the planet, and some people think, well, that shows that whites have educational superiority, whatever they want to say. But fact is, no matter where you go on Earth, chances are in that country, wherever you are, there's some influence from the white man. He's been there and done something. But like I said, whether it's mining minerals, whether it's taking some of the labor force, he's been there and done something. And yet she's on TikTok talking about, well, why can't we have a country where you guys are not for it? Like, you've been everywhere. I couldn't understand it.
Okay, so I just got back from vacation, 7 days. I went to Grand Turks, I went to the DR, and I went to Nassau. Every place I went, because I went to, I'm taking the historical tour. Every place I went was colonized. Every story I heard went from the Grand Turks. They were really, a lot of our salt came from the Grand Turks, and the U.S. went over there, built a base, left the base, let it rot, left asbestos over there, just doing what the fuck we do. The DR, going over there for the minerals, the limestone, and just everywhere. So the fact that she put that up, I'm like, just do some history. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, like even in this country, you would look at America and say, well, why are we forced to diversify? Like, you should be asking the Native Americans that. You weren't, your ancestry was not born here. You forced them to diversify. Now that you've conquered the country, you're telling people basically, don't continue doing to us what we did to your ancestors. I don't get it. I mean, like this girl clearly did not know history, did not have a history lesson to say something like that.
Isn't that crazy? It's crazy stuff. But anyway, do you notice the last couple of weeks, have you noticed the person that had been really, really quiet is starting to come out and make statements?
Who that?
This is the second one in 3 weeks.
Who's that?
Nikki Haley.
Oh shit! Didn't she say we can't replace chaos with more chaos?
Because first
that's what she
blasted
campaigned
the
on.
whole jumbo jet thing the first time, right? She blasted the jumbo jet thing, and now she came out today and called Trump's call with Putin a backhanded slap to all of our allies.
Well, I'm gonna say this about Nikki Haley and what is the governor of New Hampshire? He's another one that was campaigning with her that kind of was considered more of a moderate Republican. The fact is, once you fall in line behind Trump, trying to warn us. I mean, you campaign just like Marco Rubio was saying that Trump was Hitler-like and all this shit. Once you decided to go with the guy, you're on his team now. You can't come up and start trying to warn people when you're on record saying all this awful stuff about the man, then joining his team, and now we want, just like Candace Owens is now saying stuff. It's like you're kind of on your own now, man. It's too late.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, from that perspective, But what it says, Steve, here's what it says to me. It says to me that it's so egregious that they can't be silent anymore because they see the writing on the wall and they're trying to start to get their foothold in as midterms come. Because they can see it. That's what I always
do. You think the Democrats are going to pull it off in the midterms, though?
Yep, I do. And it's not because the Democratic Party has this great messaging. Trump's fucking it up that bad.
You know, you raise a good point, because that's one of the things people have been saying all along is that, you know, the Democrats with all the LGBTQ stuff and not securing the border and lying about Biden's cognitive ability, ain't nobody gonna vote for the Democrats again when you look at what they've done. And I've said that. I'm like, you do realize it's possible that even though the Democrats might be messing things up, Trump still has the ability to fuck things up so bad they may say, fuck it, we'll go with the Democrats anyway. I'm like, he could literally snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And when you talk about when you talk about the economy and not ending wars and things like that, he could do that. I mean, he's not sitting back quietly just running the country smoothly. There is a lot of chaos going on.
100%. And what Trump's going to do, he's going to turn around and attack Nikki Haley because we know what he does. He doesn't let an opportunity go by where he doesn't attack somebody. Right?
Bird brain.
So
bird brain.
Bird brain. He's going to attack bird brain because he just gets off message all the time. But the irony about his call with Putin today, think about how evil and disconnected that call was. Putin told him, I got to get some get back. I can't let this go. And instead of him saying, nope, that's not going to happen, since he says he got all this goddamn power, he comes back to us and says, well, Putin said he got to do something. You know,
Yeah.
He said he got to do something. I mean, it shows that he's feckless, because if he could do what he said, same thing he said with Xi. I really like Xi. He's a very, very tough negotiator. He cannot do what he said he can do. He never could. We knew it.
I think,
I don't know why you didn't know it.
I think what it is Trump is a really, I mean, because he was a successful businessman. I think he is a really good schmoozer. I mean, he knows how to, I mean, he's going to, everybody he talks to, because I know when I was at the rally, and I'm sitting 3-4 rows back, and I went to a couple of Trump rallies, I wanted to see what the energy was like. And he said something, and I liked what he said, so I stood up and applauded. He pointed at me and winked. I felt that shit. He's good at schmoozing. He's good at schmoozing.
Well, that's because maybe you had some fluffing tendencies that he pulled out. Because see, but listen, Tim.
I'm
He's full of
listening.
shit. He is a door-to-door vacuum salesman. That's who he is. That's who he is.
Well, I said
That's
he's a good.
who
I said he's a good
been.
salesman. I'll agree. He's a really good salesman. He could sell. He could sell ice to Eskimos. He's a good salesman.
He's a liar. He has no integrity.
Most
Now, that's what
salesmen
you
are liars. I mean, you go to buy a suit, and a woman can find you to be ugly as hell. She's not going to tell you look bad in the suit. Most salesmen are liars. That's what they do.
that's the sort of, I'm not even going to give you, I can't say that because
You just don't want, we want to bash Trump. You just don't want to get a man credit.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't want to put people that are in the sales, that are sales people for a living, put them on the same plane as this idiot. That's what I'm saying. They're doing it as their job. Because here's the thing. I told you, I keep calling him the prostitute in chief. I keep telling you that. He's the prostitute in chief. He'll sell anything, anybody. He doesn't care. He has no boundaries. He has no morals. I told you when I first met you, my first word to you was Trump is not redeemable. Those are the first words I said to you. He's an unredeemable person. Those are the first words I said to you. And up to this point, he has continued to show us that he is unredeemable. There is nothing that I believe he will do as the right thing. You pardon Larry Hoover, that's just a move to get black folks, the ones that aren't paying attention, thinking he's doing something good for black folks. Never mind the fact that Larry Hoover's got another 200 years of state time to do.
Yeah.
It's not any.
It's a pardon it's a pardon that comes with no teeth in it. It has no bite.
Right. It was a.
Mike, are you there? He might be getting a phone call. We'll give him a.
Yeah, I was getting a phone call.
Okay, go ahead.
I was getting a phone call. No, it's not my opinion, Cedric. It's exactly what he did. See, this is the thing. Like, it's my opinion that he him on his.
Apparently, Mike got a phone call. All right, Mike, we'll bring you back. I will say this, and to continue what Mike was saying, though. Cedric, you said it's an opinion. No, what he said is true. I mean, he pardoned a guy that still has 200 years of state time. So the pardon is irrelevant. I mean, that would be just like if you pardon Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin still got like 20 years of Minnesota state time. It's just a symbolic gesture to say I stand in solidarity with you. But the guy's going to state prison. Now for Hoover, well, maybe even for Chauvin, because Chauvin was in a different state as well when he got stabbed up. If you're doing state time, at least you're in your own state, making it easier for your family to visit you. So there are some benefits. But from what I hear, state prison is more violent than feds. So I don't know, but I'm just simply saying. But yeah, him pardoning Larry Hoover, it has no teeth in it. I mean, it's not going to get the guy out. The guy's like 70-some years old. I believe he's like up 70 or somewhere up in that area. And he still got, I mean, he got like 6 life sentences or something like that. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to be seeing freedom anytime soon. So it's a pardon that has no bite to it. What Trump could have done is looked out for a lot of aspiring, if you wanted to get the black vote, for instance, you wanted to court the black vote, look out for a lot of aspiring African Americans and give them a head start in some kind of way. But pardoning a guy who has murders and shit on his rap sheet, I don't know where the greatness of that is. Looking at the comments before we go to the next caller. Supercell Fusion says, Nikki Haley is pretty decent. I voted for her. I would like to see her take the White House. You know, I'm not disagreeing with that. Listen, I do have liberal tendencies, even though I can see some decency on the right. I like the fact that after the whole, what was it, Dylan Roof, where he went into the African-American church and took the lives of 9 people, she had the guts in a state like South Carolina to take down the Confederate flag, which, my opinion, a couple hundred years later, that flag should not even be up, considering what they were trying to do, which was break the nation in half. But she took the flag down. She actually took the flag down. For a Republican governor to do that, that takes guts. That was very unpopular for her to do that. I believe she took it down in the middle of the night or something like that. And they had to have state troopers out there. So, and what she was campaigning on was not that bad either. And I'll just say it this way. I understand the left wants, the Obama types and the progressive types, but it's a give and take. I don't, after Trump, and seeing some of the Republican politicians in the lower areas, like in certain states, trying to put, religion in schools and the abortion bans, getting someone like Nikki Haley that is going to be considerably closer to the center than Trump is. Trump, by way of folks that are working for him, is starting to appear far right. He certainly would be to the right of Nikki Haley. I think a lot of liberals would consider going from Trump to Nikki Haley as an upgrade. I think a lot of liberals would see that. And I don't think that there's a shortage of some Republicans that would see her as an upgrade as well. But there are plenty of MAGA that love Trump and they don't want him to go anywhere. So it is what it is. But I didn't think Nikki Haley was terrible. Just like Chris Christie. Some of the more moderates, I didn't think they were that bad. But MAGA wants Trump. So it is what it is. So he should lie and say he got a peace deal, says Ed G. No, I'm not saying Trump should lie and say he got a peace deal, but don't get on the phone and say it was a good phone call when the man is making it clear he's about to go bomb the Ukraine again. That's not a good phone call. Just simply say we got more work to do. The problem is Trump hypes everything up so that when it starts to not look like it was as good as what he said, MAGA kind of have to come to the rescue and try to explain to people, well, it was just sarcasm, or it was just you taking it out of context. I mean, just like when he said that COVID would be gone by April. Why go out there and give this false sense of security? You're dealing with a virus that even at that time, it's a novel virus. Even the scientists are not quite sure what they're dealing with. Why would you go on TV and tell the American people that's going to be gone by April? That's not based on any scientific information. Nobody has told you that. You just decided to go on TV and say some positive shit based on nothing. And then, of course, when it wasn't gone by April, then people got to get out there. Well, he just didn't want people to be fearful. You don't go out in the middle of something that's killing a bunch of people and lie about what's actually going on. That's just, what about the whole short-term pain for long-term gain? Go out and say some shit that makes sense. Don't just lie. Real quick in the comments before we go to the next caller. Yoshi, thank you for the support, says Atlanta Fed just forecasted 4.6 GDP growth. Core inflation is lowest in 4 years. Democrats have bloodlust only to regain power and do nothing. No plan. Well, if the GDP is growing to the point where Americans can see it, Yoshi, and thank you for your support, I think your point will be stronger, because keep in mind, under the Biden administration, he was constantly telling people the inflation was low, unemployment was good. If the people don't see the shit you're saying, those numbers, that stuff doesn't mean anything to them. If they go to the grocery store and they can't afford groceries, it's hard to put a tank of gas in their car, they can't buy a house, they can't pay their rent. You can give them all of these great statistics all damn day. It's not going to mean anything, because Biden went out doing exactly that. So as opposed to talking about GDP growth and core inflation, how about just talking about the price of eggs and a box of cereal? That's my opinion on that. T2 says Trump worked at you because Trump winked at you because he know you cool. Well, he did wink and he pointed at me, and I'm like, shit, Hercules. I mean, it does feel, look, he's the president of the United States. I don't give a damn how much I like or dislike a commander in chief. I believe in respecting the office. And this man don't flew in town. I had to wait 5 hours to see him. But he don't flew in town, and he's coming to speak to the people. I gotta respect that. Now, I didn't agree with everything he was saying, but he makes good points. The way he was framing tariffs back in the day, that every John Deere tractor that comes from Mexico, they're going to pay us a certain amount in tariffs, and they're going to charge us to send forest. The way he originally orated it made it sound legit. I didn't know he was going to get in power and put a tariff on every damn country on the planet. He didn't campaign on that. So a lot of things he said during the campaign is not what's going on now. For instance, getting rid of rapists and murderers. Who the hell got a problem with that? But getting rid of some lady that's been in the country for 50 years because she did some, a low level crime back in 2001 or something. He didn't campaign on that. So the campaigns were good, but what he's doing now, it is what it is. I look at it in the comments. Tim admitted he scammed you. Say it. I think he scammed a lot of folks. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen. Get the lights on up. Gerald MC. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Gerald. So Trump had a good phone call with Putin. What say you?
Putin got his ass whipped the other day with some drones parked outside his secret police.
I'm under the impression that Zelensky didn't have the cards.
Well, he sure came up with aces and a royal flush on their
Damn.
That was gangster right there.
Let me take you
stuff outside the secret police office.
You know what? One of the things when I saw that, it kind of reminded me of the old Predator movie when Schwarzenegger stated, when they saw the little blood from the green blood from the Predator, and he said, if it bleeds, we can kill it. The first thing I thought about when they struck with those drones all over Russia, I'm like, if they can do that to planes, they can do that to various important people throughout their country. They could have hit people.
Yes, sir.
So that shows they got a lot more cards than Trump want to give them credit for.
Yeah, think about it. If they had gone right to the planes, they could go left to the secret police office.
Yeah, they could have went to the Kremlin.
Out of that.
Right. They could have took out different governors or heads of state. If they could do that to those planes, they could have taken out important people's homes and Capitol buildings and shit. They could have done a lot more.
Yep. But strategically, the right thing to do was to take away the long-range weapon as many as you can. They did the right thing. It was smart. But man, that was.
Well, let me take you down a rabbit hole. You let me know if what I'm saying sound like I'm full of shit. But this is me speculating. Now, They stated that Zelensky stated they've been working on this for a year and a half. My opinion on this, and let me know if you think I'm wrong, and you folks in the comments can do the same. My opinion on this is the first half of that strategic plan was worked on by the Biden administration with them. I believe the Biden administration, CIA or whatever within the administration, was let them know we'll work with you as long as we can, because the next guy after me is not going to work with you. So we'll work with you as far as we can on this, and then you just obviously keep quiet once you complete the remaining half, because you really can't tell Trump. But I believe that the Biden administration took place in some of that planning, took part in some of that.
That's possible. That's not a rabbit hole. That's totally possible.
Yeah.
We don't have any proof of it, but I'd say Zelensky should take credit for it completely. Because if he does, that puts a word in Putin's head. Like, wait a minute, these guys will hit back.
Right. Well, I'm thinking in terms of surveillance, knowing where the bases are and things like that. I mean, because obviously the Ukrainians don't have access to satellite information and shit like that. They would be getting that from us. I think they were getting some of that by way of Elon Musk's Starlink or whatever. Yeah, until he canceled it. Yeah, they were giving them that. So yeah, my guess is that the Biden administration worked with them on this plan and just told them, once we gone, the rest of this you got to carry on by yourself, because the next guy is not going to give you any support at all, and he may actually spill the beans if you tell him about it.
Yep. Oh, I can believe that.
Yeah.
You're not too far down a rabbit hole. I can clearly see that.
Okay.
Because he's got to make his statement that you have no cards true. Right now, he proved it is not true. So in order for me to make that true, then hey, Putin, I'm going to tell you this, but you can't retaliate. They coming after you on this. I can see that.
Yeah.
And then he comes up, obliterates it. He says, see, I told you don't have no cards.
Yeah, it might come out you may hear about a tell-all book, 10, 20 years from now, but obviously if it comes out now, Trump is going to fire every member of the CIA that didn't tell him. So you can't spill the beans now and say, yeah, Biden was in on it, but it wouldn't surprise me if years down the line, some retired CIA officer, writes a book and says, yeah, Biden gave him all the information he needed, helped him design the drones and plan it out and everything.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But, of course, Trump will have a counter book. If he's,
well, he'll be long dead by then, but I'm just saying, deep throat back in the day with the Nixon administration. Like I said, I really strongly believe the Biden, because let me just say it this way. If Biden had got reelected or Kamala Harris had got reelected, do you think Zelensky would have let them know that attack was coming?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he would have shared it with them.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
You came to the White House, the guy practically insulted you.
Yep.
The guy practically treated him like shit. I mean, this is a head of state, and then you got Vance and the other idiots that, well, why aren't you wearing a suit? Why aren't you wearing? I'm wearing this because this is what my soldiers are wearing, and I'm representing my soldiers in my country. And we ain't pretty right now.
Yeah, and that's why I don't understand. And that's why I don't understand why Trump is thinking that he can end this war. Like, you're trying to end the war by you're not offering either one of these sides anything. I mean, why would they listen to you at this point? I mean, he's not offering. In fact, he's demanding that the Ukrainians repay for the shit that the Biden administration gave them. Like, you're not giving them any security guarantees. You're not giving them anything. Why would they work with you?
Right, and he was trying to. What was the deal? Give me your rare earth minerals, and we'll help you.
No, he's not offering. He's not offering any help other than saying that while we're in your country, taking your rare earth minerals, maybe that'll make Russia think twice about attacking you because we're there taking your shit. But he's not offering them anything.
I mean, and then to even think about giving Russia property for attacking me. It's like a guy, I told this one friend of mine, and he's a MAGA guy, but we can have discussions. Mm-hmm. I said, think about it this way. This is how I think about it. Somebody comes to my house, breaks in, takes over my downstairs, takes it over, tells me I can't come downstairs anymore. I've taken it over, pushes me upstairs. The judge comes in and says, well, you know, to stop you guys from fighting with each other, why don't you just give him your downstairs and you stay upstairs?
That's Trump. That's Trump's part of that. Yeah, and that's kind of what he's doing. Is he's telling Zelensky to just concede the shit they've taken, and we're not going to give you any guarantees that if they try to take more, we're going to help you out.
Right? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
That's what you're asking somebody to do? So you're teaching every dictator, every person with an army that all you got to do, go over there and take it, and once you take it, oh, we'll just give it to you. We'll just let you have it. As long as you stop at that point. When are they gonna stop?
Well, when you're a well-known country, they'll let you just do anything. Grab them by the country, you know, all of that shit. That's what it sounds like. Just literally take what you want. But no, and that's what I said. I don't see why anybody ever thought that Trump was going to end the war. He literally is coming, bringing nothing.
Right, and he's telling these people. Tim, it's just I don't get it. It's so strange. It's like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, am I really hearing this? Am I really listening to this? This same guy, my little MAGA friend, told me, he said, look, why don't you go listen to Joe Rogan's interview with Elon? It was real interesting. He had some really good points. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I went and listened to it. And I finally understood where Trump got the thing about DEI in the FAA with the air traffic controllers. He made a statement. He said that there is a bunch of white guys who have been pushed out of the air traffic control area, and they're just sitting on the sidelines now. And I got to thinking about that because, you know, I fly also. I have a pilot's license, but I got to think about that. Okay.
Elon is the one that said a bunch of white guys that got pushed out.
Yes, he said it on Joe Rogan's show.
All right.
He said a bunch of white guys got pushed out for DEI, and I went, wait a minute. There's a mandatory retirement age for air traffic controllers. Mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, how many black or women were in the air traffic control space in the late 1950s?
Probably zero.
There weren't any.
Zero.
Right. So who's going to hit mandatory retirement first?
Yeah, it's going to be nothing.
The white guys.
Yeah.
So that's why they're out, because they hit mandatory retirement. It wasn't because well, we're going to push them out because we need women and we need black people. We need people of color that can do this job. But, you know, it was because they wouldn't let us in the first place. So
they really do believe, though, that there's a whole lot of minorities, women, and members of the LGBT community that are getting jobs all over America that they have no merit for. They really believe that.
You still got to pass the test. The test is the test.
Yeah.
The test does not. When I got my pilot's license, I took the same test that every white dude took. There wasn't a black test. I got the goddamn plane and I flew it just like they told me I had to fly. And if I didn't fly it that way, they were going to fail me.
Now, what were you doing again? You were a pilot?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I do that. I do it for fun. I just said I was in a flying club. We had planes. And we were, you know.
What do you fly? Single engine?
Single engine. The biggest plane I've flown is a Cessna Citation jet. Okay. I got 10 hours in a Citation jet.
Nice. I'm a big fan of remote control aviation. I have gotten behind the plane. I've flown in ultralight before in Australia, but I'm a big fan of RC aircraft. I fly everything from jets and shit like that. But that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. We used to have a lot of, especially when I got into the jet training. That was pretty cool because I'd load up friends and everything, and we fly to Dallas and party, and then fly back the next day or 2 days later. Was it
a lot of brothers hanging around the lounge?
No.
Yeah,
I was it. It was me and my party of people. We were the brothers.
Yeah, that's not a cheap hobby to get into to begin with. So yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
No, it's not. I mean, you got my cost me about 11,000, and my instrument rating cost me about 13,000. The jet training was almost 8 by itself.
Damn.
It ain't cheap.
No, it ain't. You need somebody like Bin Laden to sponsor you or some shit. That ain't cheap. But I was trying to see, because I flew an ultralight over southern what do you call it, Calandra and the Queensland area. I don't know where, I was looking for it real quick, but I had a photo of it. And this small ass thing, I could barely even fit in it, but I was able to get in it, and now I'm a lot more mortal. I probably be a lot more afraid to do that shit, but I was in my 30s, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yes, my wife made me quit last year. We had two of our friends. Well, one of our friends, his parents got killed in a plane crash. They had like 3 planes, and they got killed in one. And then the owner of the club that I was in, he got killed in a crash. And she goes, "Oh, you're done."
Yeah. Well, certainly under this administration, speaking of this, tying this into our conversation about politics, do you believe that the Trump administration has anything to do with all of the problems in the aeronautic industry?
Only if they cut people. If there were people cut from the FAA and people cut from and I don't know that it was.
Right.
If that happened, they're stupid, because it's already a shortage. Those air traffic controllers are stressed to the max.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
One of my friends he was the manager at one of the ATC facilities in where I live. They actually covered all of from Michigan down to New Orleans was his airspace.
Okay.
And he had all these controllers in there, and I went to visit him and watch him one day, and he said that these guys can only do about 4 hours.
Is that stressful?
They have to, yeah.
Damn.
And they have to sit down. It's that stressful.
Yeah.
It's that bad. It can get that bad, and you have to think. You know, you run some planes into each other. I've even on one of my training flights, I had an air traffic controller make a mistake and pushed us toward what was it? It was a jet. I forgot the name of the jet, but it was one of American Eagle's jets. It was a small one. He put us in a holding pattern over what's called the VOR, and he put us too low. And I remember seeing out of the corner of my eye something go under my plane.
Ooh, another aircraft?
Like, what was that? Yeah, it was a jet.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, what was that?
Jesus.
And my instructor was like, because I was flying in what they call the goggles. You have to put these goggles on and fly blind.
Okay.
It's like simulating flying when you can't see. You know,
In
flying
weather or night. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you can't see it. I'm seeing it, but you know, if I'm looking out the corner of my eye and down, I see down. I can see the instruments, but I can't see out the front window.
So you almost had a midair.
And this thing goes underneath me.
Damn.
And I'm like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden, the air traffic controllers started talking to us, and they were like blaming us. And you know, I was like, well, wait a minute, what the frick is going on here? And they're blaming us. And he said, we got a number for you to call. That means you're in trouble.
Yeah, anytime they say we got a number for you, you know you fucked up.
Yep, exactly. So I told the instructor, I said, look, I'm doing this for fun. Just blame it all on me, you know. So you protect your license and just blame the crap on me, whatever it is. Just blame it on me, and I quit. I don't care. I'm just doing it for fun. You do it for a living. And turns out, you know, 2 weeks went by, and I kept asking him, hey, man, what happened to that? What happened? I hadn't heard anything. What happened? And finally, about 3 weeks later, he comes back and said, yeah, they called me. They said they were training an air traffic controller, and they put us in the wrong position.
Ooh, so it was their fault.
It was their fault. It was the air traffic controller's fault. Damn. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's it. Mid-air. Wow. All right, well, Gerald, I do got to move it on, but real quick on the screen, that is the plane I flew. That's a picture of me in front of it. And I could barely, you see, I mean, we actually, just a cord was tied behind the rudder, and we actually dragged it out the hangar. That's how small that plane is. Can you see the guy behind me over the wing there? He's actually refueling it now. If you can see that the white guy in the background behind
Yeah.
me, yeah. But that is me.
How the heck you just? That look like it carry enough weight. How the hell it carry your big ass?
That thing, in fact, I flew with him in it, and because I said the same. I'm like, are you sure this thing can carry us? That plane had a lot of power, man. That thing picked up and took us off the runway like nothing. Because I even have video of the actual flight and all. I mean, that plane had power. That little single engine took, no problem at all. So it was. And back in the day, I guess there's a just showing how cramped I was in that damn thing. But yeah, got in it, took off. All right, Gerald.
I got some pictures of me flying. All right, brother.
We'll talk about it on the next one. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, get the lights on up to 40,000. Can we make that happen? Tap the screen, get the lights up. Hang glider on a go-kart. Now, I don't want, you're talking about the thing where they put the paraglider, where they put the fan on your back, and then you got the parachute, and you pull the two strings for steering. I wouldn't fuck with that. Now, when I was younger, I've done all of that. I have paraglided and did all of that shit. I paraglided in Key West and all that. I wouldn't do it. Now, when you get older, when you were, in your 20s and your 30s, you feel like you're immortal. When you start getting old and you start actually having doctors tell you shit about blood pressure and cholesterol and shit, you start realizing you can really fucking die. So you don't feel immortal anymore. Now you start actually thinking, like when I was paragliding and shit like that, I had heard some of the parachutes broke on people and they fell to their death. Oh, that shit ain't gonna happen to me. I ain't worried about that. Went up there, and when you get to be older, you like, shit, I don't want to be one that, you start actually thinking about dying. So wouldn't do it now. Anyway, looking in the comments, girly pop, oh my God, get the grandma. Bear with me, I am dealing with a cold, so you're going to hear me cough a little bit. Tap the screen, get the likes on to about 40,000. Real quick in the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. Glad he shared that story of DEI air traffic controller. Draco, let me just say this. You always hear about DEI, meaning that a minority, a woman, or an LGBTQ member got a position that they didn't have the merit for due to their status of being LGBTQ, a female, or a minority. As if there has never been a white guy that has gotten a position solely because he's white. What is that called? What is that called when you get a position simply for being white? Now, I've said this on the program many times before. I'm sure some of you have heard this before, but DEI was the law of the land. America was founded on DEI. You knew for most of America's history, the next Supreme Court justice, the next mayor, the next police chief was going to be a white guy. You already knew that. Doesn't matter how much merit some Hispanic woman had, she wasn't going to get the job. You already knew the next person to replace this person is going to be another white man. DEI? It was okay then, wasn't it? I mean, literally most of America's history. We've been a country since, 1776, 250 plus years. I'd say probably 80% of that time, we were DEI for white males. Everyone else, regardless of their merit, was not going to get the job. You knew that the next general, the next colonel, the next captain at your local airlines, you were not going to get that job unless you were a white male. You knew that already. So all of a sudden now it's working for these other classes that have been marginalized for like a couple centuries. And guess who's complaining about it? And it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense that people are complaining about DEI in modern times. Because the people who are complaining about DEI are the same people that benefited from it. The overwhelming majority of people complaining about DEI are white males. I mean, I'm just telling you my own personal analysis. When you hear somebody talking about DEI and how it's wrong, it is almost always a white male. And it makes sense. I mean, look, if I knew for most of America's history that if I applied for a job, you didn't have a chance at all in beating me, and I had that hierarchy, and all of a sudden they took that away, and they started recognizing you, yeah, my chances are my children who were expecting to have the same benefit that I had, they would be the first ones complaining. So it makes sense where it's coming from. But overwhelmingly, when you hear somebody talking about DEI, it is generally white males. And it makes sense because they used to benefit from it. Go looking in the comments, though. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm 53 and I jumped out of an airplane last year. Po Bill, shout out to you. I could be persuaded to do it. I don't drink or do anything, so I can't say if I get drunk. But maybe maybe the right conversation or something, maybe. But you get older. George H.W. Bush. I think he jumped out of one like. What was he, like 90 or some shit? He did it. Going back to the bots, user 448. Good evening. Y'all talking about disabilities without ever breaking a bone. Shut the fuck up. What are you guys talking about in the comments there? User, good evening. Is this Jeremy?
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on, man. We were talking earlier about how Trump talked to Putin today. And he's referring to it as a good phone call, but Putin made it clear he's about to start bombing the Ukraine in retaliation. Why is Trump calling this a good conversation?
I haven't really paid attention to that. I actually didn't know that happened today.
Give me a moment. I'll give you the clip from Fox, and we can talk about it on the other side.
Sure.
Welcome back.
Actually, this is the other topic, but let me see if I can bring this up right, because both of my clips are from Fox.
Announcing he has just spoken with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He wrote this on True Social. I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. Those were those you.
Now, he's talking about, obviously, the drone attacks. He's got to respond to the attacks on the airfield. So why would Trump refer to this as a good conversation if the man is making it clear, I'm about to go blow some shit up?
Diplomacy takes time, Tim.
I get it.
Takes time.
I get it,
No,
but this ain't good.
Let me finish. So, this is important. Diplomacy takes time, and the thing is you can't convince people right away that they should always do what you want without giving them a little bit of time to understand your side. So, in my own personal life, I've had plenty of people who I later were able to reconcile friendships with, where you couldn't just push the issue right away. You got to kind of go in a little bit softly. Now, Trump has a little bit of a different position. He is a leader of one of the biggest militaries in the entire world. So for him, he has a bit of a carrot and a stick he can offer. He can offer the carrot of talking on the phone with Putin, and he can also offer the stick of military intervention.
Wait a minute,
so
hold on.
He's got a balancing act.
He campaigned on no new wars. He's made it clear that he is not going to involve the U.S. military in it. So I think Putin, they got access to all of his campaigns, and they know what's going on in America. They have no fear that Trump is going to use the United States military to stop Putin. He's made it clear over and over again he ain't going to do that. So I'm trying to see, what does Trump have that's going to make Putin say, okay, we better go ahead and listen? He already know we're not going to use the military.
There's a few things that he can do. First off, he has one of the most powerful economies behind him in the world, and this is something that you might not know about him. But there's like secondary boycotts and primary boycotts that he can do. So what he can do is he can not only put a full-on an embargo on Russia, he can also do what's known as secondary boycotts, where anybody who does business with Russia also can't and do business with the United States. That really hurts. It's a lot of foreign countries. A lot. No, I'm serious. It does. A lot of countries will pull out if they feel that Russian oil isn't worth what it's going to cost in the United States when it comes to their economy.
I understand what you're saying, but the point I'm trying to make is sanctions do not work on everybody. Point being, we've had sanctions on North Korea to the point where there've been rumors that some of the North Koreans are starving so much they eat grass. And yet Kim Jong-un is not caving. We've had sanctions on Cuba so long, they're still driving cars from the 1950s, yet they're not caving. We've had sanctions on Iran. They're not caving. Why do we think that Putin is going to cave to sanctions? We already sanctioned the hell out of them. They don't even have McDonald's over there anymore because we've been sanctioning them for so long. Why do we think that some nations, as opposed to bowing to America and enjoying the spoils of capitalism, would rather stick by their principles and say, I'd rather fight to the last man than to give in? You think Putin would give in?
Yeah, so here's why. First off, we don't have a complete embargo on Cuba. If you actually look into it, our embargo is actually partial. It's not complete. So one of the things that the United States does do is it does give away a lot of aid to Cuba, and it actually trades with them when it comes to things like medical.
Are we doing that under Trump, giving away a lot of aid to Cuba? Is Trump still doing that?
Yep, it's still being done, just not through things like AUSAID.
But it is federal tax dollars going to Cuba from the Trump administration.
Yeah, you can look into it right now.
I have a hard time believing that. He's canceled money for cancer research and shit. I have a hard time believing Trump is supporting the Cubans. That don't sound like the Trump we've got now.
I'm serious. Look it up. Like on Cuba, in partial embargo. So we don't have a complete embargo on them. They still get a lot of their medical supplies from us.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, but the fact is we've had strict sanctions on Cuba for a very long time. Obama tried to lift them for a short time because under Obama you had folks like Jay-Z and all of them were starting to go to Havana. Obama was trying to make our relationship with Cuba improve, but when Trump got elected the first time, he reversed all of that shit. So yeah, I'd have to see it. I don't see him continuing to do that now. Trump seems to have reversed the assistance we've been giving everybody. I'd have to see something showing that he's still looking out for Cuba, other than maybe he don't know it's happening. Because my guess is if find out taxpayer money is going to Cuba, he's going to stop it.
So far, we still do. Now, here's the thing: we also don't stop other countries from trading with Cuba. A lot of European countries and North American countries like Canada also trade with Cuba as well. So they actually are trading with other countries.
Yeah, well, let me clear it up. I didn't say that 100% of the trade has been stopped, but there are some serious sanctions we've had on Cuba for a long time. I mean, you see what kind of cars they're driving around in. There are strong sanctions on Cuba that's been there forever.
Right, but again, we could do to Russia something that we haven't done to many other countries, which is number one, put out a complete embargo on them, and number two, put secondary boycotts on anybody who does business with Russia.
Yeah. I think the problem, I would be more willing to see the power in your statement if Trump had not imposed tariffs and attacked the whole damn world, suggesting that everybody's taking advantage of us at once. I think we're at the point now where even among NATO, Trump doesn't have as many allies as he may have had when he first took office. He's insulted everybody, even people that may have had even people with good relationships with us. So if all of a sudden he started talking about imposing real strict sanctions on Russia, I'm not sure that everybody would agree with him anymore because he's attacked everybody.
Well, here's the thing. There's a little bit of a benefit of being top dog, which we absolutely still are. People kind of have to play with you. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't really understand just how powerful our economy is. We are not a juggernaut. We are the juggernaut of the world. Okay, so people do have to play ball with us. Not only that, but like people understand that Trump push is what he believes to be a true and necessary in order to get things done, and so they know that he'll stick to like people are more afraid of losing the United States as a trade partner than they are of gaining other people as trade partners because of how important we are on the world stage. I'm Tim. You've actually lived in other countries before. You probably know this that A lot of other countries that don't have English as their native language still teach it to their children at a young age because they know that they're going to have business with either the UK or.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think that comes from a time when these countries thought that the United States was operating in their best interest. They don't see that anymore, which is what you're saying. Well, even though we may not be doing what you like, you still got to play ball with us. What happens when you do that is you start incentivizing people to talk behind your back and start forming their own alliances and talking to amongst each other and saying, how can we exist in a way where we reduce the influence of America? We've actually started causing other folks to start tinkering with ideas to separate from us because under Trump, we've shown ourselves not to be this staunch ally that they always thought we were. People always thought, well, the United States have our back. It's okay letting the US dollar be ahead. The United States is always going to do what's in the best interest of NATO, what's in the best interest of the West. And Trump comes along and goes the exact opposite of that. So now these countries are now starting to realize that all the U.S. will ever be is one election away from a rogue leader, and everything we've gotten used to could go topsy-turvy. Trump has shown them that this is not as stable as you may have originally thought.
Well, here's the thing. We're doing the exact same thing right back to them. Okay, by putting these tariffs on. And remember, tariffs are a tax on your own country, on what your own country's people spend their money on. It's to disincentivize spending money on foreign goods, right? So, what does that mean? American manufacturing will be coming back. A lot of things that we get overseas will be doing natively.
Do you believe that, though, Jeremy? I mean,
yes,
because wait a minute, you understand that Trump's only supposed to be around for 3 years or so. Once he leaves, the next person could come back and apologize. Like, remember Obama's Middle East apology tour? The next guy could come in as a liberal and apologize to all these countries and say, we're going to take things right back. Would you really, if you had a business like Apple, would you really start bringing manufacturing back knowing that the next guy may do something just as radical as what Trump did when he took office?
President J.D. Vance, I think, will definitely make sure that won't happen.
Well, if you get J.D. Vance, then it's not going to be radical. But if you get President Gavin Newsom or President Tim Walz or somebody on the left, those tariffs are going to go bye-bye. I mean, so you're talking about building millions of dollars of manufacturing facilities back in the United States, and boom, all of a sudden you got access to cheap Chinese labor again. So I don't see overturning all of this manufacturing that's in these other countries basically at the snap of a finger like Trump is suggesting. I don't see it because I don't expect the tariffs to stay with the next administration.
Well, let's look at this. Let's look at history for a second. Remember World War II? Remember how we got attacked at Pearl Harbor and how quickly we mobilized into a fully armored country that was willing to fight the Japanese and the Italians and the Germans? How long did that take, Tim? We did have more manufacturing already going on in the United States at the time. I will give you that. However, we really, within like only a few months, mobilized billions of dollars worth of military equipment.
Well, because you were fighting for survival. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference. You're fighting for survival, not the right to be able to purchase an iPhone. I mean, people were fighting, to stop the spreading of the empire of Japan and Hitler. I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Trump, if you put on enough pressure on companies to change, they are able to change. They are able to do a lot of things in the United States. And you see, the short term, I genuinely believe this, Tim. I believe that in a year and a half, we could have a fully industrialized United States. I genuinely believe that. And I think that if we did, all of a sudden, there's less power there that other countries have over us. Like even India, which is where a lot of manufacturing has been moving from China to. India won't even have as much power over us. If you can start doing things in the United States, and to everybody who thinks that, Americans are going to want to do those kind of jobs. I
don't think they are.
A lot of those jobs, you want to know how sophisticated they are? A lot of them are pushing a button.
Here's the problem. They moved that stuff over to these countries because they wanted cheap labor. If they move manufacturing back to America, the laborers, the folks that work in America are going to want to get paid American salaries. And we've been fighting for 20 years to not increase the minimum wage. I don't see how you're going to get reliable American labor that's going to be anywhere near satisfactory to what they've become used to paying in China and the Philippines. Americans ain't going to want to work for those prices. And they don't want to give extra money out.
But that's the thing. We don't have to. We can pay our workers better and still make a return on investment when it comes to American manufacturing. One of the things that needs to be done, though, is unnecessary regulation needs to go down. A lot of the reasons why things are so much more expensive to make into America are more expensive to make in America is because of unnecessary regulations.
Jeremy, they've kept the minimum wage the same for 20 years already for the jobs we do have here. You think when they bring these Chinese jobs back, they're going to pay a decent wage? They're not even paying a decent wage for the jobs we have in the country right now.
Tim, I'm not even paid minimum wage. I do a job that years ago would have been a minimum wage job. I'm a dishwasher, and I get paid $15 an hour in a state where it's $17.25. You can absolutely pay people more.
I didn't say whether you can. I didn't say whether you can. I'm saying they do not pay people a decent salary in this country in a hell of a lot of jobs.
You want to know why?
Yeah, because they pocket the money.
Well, it's also because they have a workforce of a lot of foreign bodies that they can bring in from the third world to lower the price of overall wages.
Yeah, I really think that I really think that you're seeing a lot more positivity out of corporate America than there really is. I mean, I just don't see, because right now, even when you look at these folks that are working in these other countries doing these jobs, I don't believe the employer gives them health care in China and gives them unemployment insurance and all of that shit. When they come back here with those jobs, people gonna want all of that stuff. So in addition to a higher hourly wage, they want benefits and all of that stuff. You think they're gonna give them all of that?
Yes, and here's why. Number one, local resources are cheaper than foreign resources. Okay, do you know how much it costs to ship a lot of these products over to China in order to get manufactured in the first place? Billions of dollars, especially when it comes to crude oil that powers a lot of these ships. When you do things domestically, it is so much easier to do. Number two, there is an actual national security risk here. We need to manufacture more in the United States so that way other countries, when it comes to our defense, can't all of a sudden pull out if they become unfriendly with us. Number three, when you look at lowering regulations, a lot of regulations and a lot of red tape going away will lower the overall manufacturing price of a lot of these goods, thus allowing those people who would work for those companies who want all those benefits to get paid with the savings.
Yeah, I think you're crazy on this. I think when you start reducing regulations, the corporations are going to seize on that. All of a sudden, they're getting rid of OSHA. They're going around labor laws and all. I mean, you have stuff like
OSHA. You don't have to get fully get rid of OSHA.
I think at the end of the day, a corporation wants labor costs to be as low as possible. And every time you remove a regulation, they look for ways to exploit that to reduce the cost of labor. Maybe it's how they dump their waste, or maybe it's safety procedures. If they don't have to buy guards for the saws or something, like to put a guard on the saw in the factory, if they don't have to buy that, they won't buy it. I mean, they're going to when you reduce regulations, they're going to exploit that every way they can to reduce costs. And I just don't see corporations doing the right thing as you're automatically assuming. They're going to bring it back. They're going to pay us decent wages. They're going to give people benefits. They're not even doing that stuff now. They're not doing it now. But these are the same people. These are the same people on their own that lobby for regulations to be reduced so that they could go to these countries to pursue cheap labor. You believe those very same people, when they're forced to bring the stuff back, are just going to be nice and do right by the employees?
Well, first off, they actually lobby to put in more regulation. You want to know why?
Why?
It's more expensive for them, but it's also more expensive for competition. So they actually price their competition out of the market. Bigger, larger companies that can hold on, that can and take the cost will survive, while the little guys get choked out. That's why you want to know why there are so few competitors to John Deere? It's because of a lot of unnecessary regulation. Now, there are absolutely regulations that need to be kept in place. I have worked plenty of dangerous jobs, and there are plenty of times where I'm like, thank God that was in the way, otherwise I might have gotten hurt. You know, like certain guardrails in certain places, you know, certain requirements for like certain types of clothing and stuff like that. However, again, it all depends on what. And there's tons of unnecessary regulation that's put in. And corporations lobby for this stuff because competition can't compete. It makes it a much higher barrier to entry.
Yeah. I just vehemently disagree with you on this. I think you got your view of corporate America is far more positive than mine. But Jeremy, I do got to move it on. I hope you're right. I hope that they do bring manufacturing back and pay a decent wage for the jobs, which would I guess mean the CEOs are going to take a lower salary because the money got to come from somewhere. I don't see it happening, but at the end of the day, if you're right, I'll certainly concede the point. Thanks for coming through.
Sure. Before I go, can I make one last point?
Sure.
So you've said this before on your program that like that DEI for white guys was a thing for a long time.
Is that true?
Two things. Number one.
Wait. Is that true though?
It was for a while.
When did it end?
I'd say at least in the 70s.
Well, shit. When was the country founded?
It was founded way before then.
So about 200 years out of our history, white men had an advantage of DEI, is what you're saying. I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, and it wasn't good then either. It wasn't good then.
Yeah, but white men wasn't complaining about it. White men wasn't complaining about it at all.
Just because nobody's complaining about something doesn't mean it's good. I mean, my point here is this. We shouldn't have had it back then, and it's good that we don't have, and it's never good that when we re-implement it for someone else. You know, it's two wrongs don't make a right. And at the end of the day, the best thing we can hopefully do is make sure that everybody completely succeeds without any other help outside of things that give them the opportunity to do the same thing as
let me ask you this. Now, you're willing to admit from 1776 at least to 1970, which is a little bit shy of 200 continuous years, that the white man had an advantage. Do you think that giving them that advantage DEI style for that lengthy period of time has affected those other communities that were held back at all? Because you're saying you want everything to be equal now. So they had a 200-year head start, according to you, and you're saying, okay, well, now everything should be equal. You don't think anything should be done at all for those people that were held back for 200 years?
Only with the immediate descendants. I know people like to think that like, like if your ancestors got a head start, then for the next 400 years, if nothing is done, they're just going to benefit from it. Not really. Wealth usually lasts only 3 generations. The first generation makes most of the wealth because they work their ass off, so that way their kids don't have to have the same kind of struggles that they did. The second generation maintains it. They don't gain more. They just maintain it because they saw how hard their parents worked.
Jeremy, if you got Jeremy, Jeremy, if your family has a 200-year head start on my family, it ain't gonna just be wealth. You're gonna have laws that are more beneficial to you. You're gonna have property in neighborhoods that are not even for sale where I can buy because your family own them all. 200 years, you know how much of an advantage your family would get on mine? And now you're gonna tell me, well, only the immediate descendant of your family can get a little bit of advantage, but the remaining 200 years in favor of you, and we'll give you maybe 20 years to catch up. And you think that that's possible?
That's what the civil rights movement was about. It repealed a lot of these laws. There are very few to any laws on the books in it that are actually racist. But I do know you got to move it on. Yeah. I knew Gangster Grandma hasn't yelled at you today, so I don't want to stop you from having that happen.
Oh, my Lord. All right, Jeremy. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
Have a good one, Sam.
You too. All right, moving on with the program. We're real quick before I go to the next caller. C Bro Cortex, that's a hell of a name. Thank you for your support. Says, make America talk about real stuff again. I like that. To some degree, and I will say Trump has made politics more interesting than any politician in my lifetime. Look, the guy does a lot, and then and a significant amount of it is controversial. But even excluding the controversial shit he does, he's on TV talking to the people almost every day. So he makes politics interesting. And then, of course, he likes to fight back. He likes to start fights. So there's always something going on to talk about in regards to Trump. And I don't like to have a boring, uninteresting show. So when there's nothing going on, a lot of those days I don't have a show. I don't want to just come on here and make up some bullshit for the sake of having a lie. I don't take off a lot of days because there's always something he's done or said. And if I do skip a day, whereas I'm sick or I got something from my own day job, when I come back, there's multiple days worth of shit we're talking about. He is a very, very interesting politician. Remember the old Dos Equis commercials, the most interesting man in the world? Trump should be the guy on that damn commercial. Stay thirsty, my friends. He should be that guy. But looking in the comments, the Super Victim Show. All right, Wayne. I don't know what it is about particularly the African American community, but they can't complain about shit without having victim mentality. Elon could talk about white people getting kicked out of the FAA or, white people dealing with genocide in South Africa. They never have victim mentality. But the minute an African American says something, you just can't ever get over the fact that you're playing a victim card, playing a race card. You guys on the colored side, you need to just shut the fuck up and move on. I don't know why it's like that. You bring up anything that happened. Look, you can bring up September 11th. The response is never forget. You bring up December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. People honor that. You bring up anything else in history, people understand. You bring up something that happened to the African American community. Well, you know what happened around the world, don't you? You know that didn't just happen here. You know your own people sold you into that, right? I don't know what it is about the African American community other than many people probably believe that in response to what they went through, they need to just shut the fuck up and get over it. That's just the way it is. When they bring up what happened to them, it just doesn't get the same credence. It just doesn't get the same credence. In fact, before I go to the next caller, I saw an article today, more stuff that was whitewashed. I didn't know this. Obviously during the slave trade, coming back and forth, 1.8 million slaves lost their lives on the voyages. 1.8 million slaves died on the voyages coming over. I had never heard of that. The article talks about how you know about the Mayflower, you heard about the Titanic and all these other ships. Not one of those slave ships has ever been recognized. No names, just literally erased all this shit from history. None of this stuff is known about. 1.8 million, that's a lot. Because the host of the article made a statement like, that's a lot of loss of life. There's no memorials, there's no names of these people, nothing. 1.8 million. That's a lot of people. Anyhow, but like I said, move on, stop playing the victim, and shut the fuck up. Supercell Fusion says, Trump ain't shit. Says, Jeremy is just simply saying, Tim is wrong, I am right. Trump can't be a taco. He's just for white people. Jeez. He's not for people of color. But they're going to bring up Trump has offered a few controversial pardons to people of color. So they're gonna say that. Let me go back to the box, continuing on with the program, the one and only gangsta grandma. No fluffing
No,
Wednesday.
shut the fuck up with you, no fluffing. You let that racist piece of shit on. Oh, Jeremy with his fucking $15 an hour job voted for Trump. Ain't that about a bitch? How you be a dishwasher and vote for fucking Trump?
Well, look.
Ain't no special.
What are you saying? Because he's a dishwasher earning $15 an hour, there's no reason to vote for Trump?
Hell yeah, why would you vote for a fucking idiot like that, man? Motherfucker ain't for you, you stupid bitch.
Oh my God! Come on, wait a minute.
You.
Not only are you being
I want to go vote for the billionaire. I want to go suck his dick. That's what he's doing.
not only are you being incredibly hold on.
Let me tell you some poor little Jeremy with his little fucking cracker ass.
Wait, hold on with the racist. Wait. Not only are you being incredibly hold on. Not only are you can I get a word in? Let me get a word in. Not only are you being incredibly disrespectful, you're flat out wrong. There's a lot of reasons for somebody earning even 15, but pro-life, pro-2A, pro-small government.
Shut the quit fluffing.
You wrong.
Let me tell you something. That's why he likes the uneducated. That's why. That is so fucking why. Because they'll vote for the people that is going to put them under the damn thing. You feel what I'm saying? Do you really think Trump is for the working class, $15 an hour man? Fuck no.
Well,
he's lining his pockets. He's not lining them.
But you're assuming that the only reason Jeremy making $15 an hour as a dishwasher would vote for Trump is his salary. Like I said, he's pro-life, pro-2A. What about all that shit that you...
He's pro-racist. That's why the fuck. Come on now. He don't like your black ass. He don't like my black ass. He don't like nobody but only his white people. Did you hear? Oh yeah, the DEI was for the white man for 200 plus years. Get the fuck out of here,
Jeremy. I think you're gauging Jeremy wrong. You're a bit too harsh. The guy.
You know what? I'm not like you. I'm not gonna suck a white man's ding-a-ling. You feel me? And I'm not gonna give those motherfuckers any damn grace. They don't give our black asses no grace. They tell us we're playing the victim card when they're coming after our asses and they're coming after the Mexicans and stuff. Fuck them. Fuck everything about them. And then, did you hear about the new travel ban? Get the fuck out of here.
And you don't see any of this as racist toward white people at all, do you?
What? What? The burnt mayonnaise? Fuck no. Do you think they give a fuck about us? See, let me tell you something about you, okay, girly pop? You'll be macking, you'll be fluffing, you'll be cheating and hollering at them, okay? Oh yes, I see that. You don't push the fuck back. You know, I promise you, if I was a co-anchor on here, baby, I promise you, I'll be slapping their asses back and putting them back into reality. You feel what I'm saying?
Gangsta Grandma, I'm going to tell you, it sounds like you just don't like white people. It really does.
Oh my God, let me tell you something. I said it for the 100th fucking goddamn time. I like the normal white fucking people. I do not like spoiled ass mayonnaise. I do not like Ritz crackers. I don't like none of those asses because they don't like our black asses. And they're racist as fucking hell. They voted for a goddamn racist. And you think I'm gonna kiss their fucking ass? You got me fucked up.
Let me, God, you're affecting my cold. Let me ask it to you this way.
Well, go get you some mayonnaise, because you sure do like it.
Why the hell you keep talking about crackers and mayonnaise? Do you not hear yourself?
And? Do you hear they asses? Do you hear they asses? I hear they asses coming at your black ass on the other fucking lies, and you sure don't put back. Yes, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Shit, I can't even call them a Ritz crackers. I like me some Ritz crackers.
You know damn well if they were on talking about fried chicken, watermelon, and shit, you would go ape shit. But you're only talking about crackers and mayonnaise.
With some hot sauce? Hell yeah. Fried chicken with hot sauce, collard greens. Motherfuckers can't even cook. They put raisins in their damn fucking potato salad. Who does that? At least I put bacon.
Do you have any white friends or associates at all?
Do I have white friends?
Yeah.
Let me see. See, I'm not like the white people. I got a white friend. Oh, I got a black friend. That don't make me racist.
Do you have anybody in your life?
I got a couple of their asses. But I keep them at an arm length. Because I don't trust their asses. You got me fucked up.
I think you're denying the obvious. You have a problem.
What am I denying? I don't kiss their white asses. I don't suck their little ding-a-lingers. I don't do shit like that. Pug, no. Who the fuck would suck on them? And they got fucking raw ass meat hanging. Gross. That's just disgusting.
What the hell are you talking about?
I told you, I still got receipts, bitch. I still got fucking receipts. Half these motherfuckers are in my inbox. You know maggots like my fucking ass, and I sure don't like their asses. I tell their ass. They tell me, well, you don't come on to the white side. Fuck no. I might get some
How,
chlamydia.
how the hell do we move on with you being this hateful, gangster grandma? How do
I'm
we
not hateful.
really? You think
What?
this? You think
I'm
this
not
is
hateful.
love? You think this is love and
I
unity?
don't love no white team because they will hang us. What are you talking about, Willis? I don't love them. I will like tolerate their asses to a point, but they're not welcome to my damn barbecue. Only the white people that are on my side, that won't put us in a tree, that like the ropes, that will vote and help us. I like their asses, but I sure don't like the spoiled mayonnaise and the Ritz crackers. Hell the fuck no, I don't. Nope.
Spoiled mayonnaise and Ritz crackers. You realize how derogatory that shit sounds?
And do you know how derogatory the white man sounds? Like that one dude said on your life, yeah, if he was racist, I'll still vote for him. And you let the motherfuckers on your fucking life, you let Jeremy on your life, you know he's just fucking a racist ass bitch. And what?
I think,
I'm
listen,
not like you. I'm not gonna bend over and take it in the ass for a white man, okay? I'm not gonna do all that. See, I take it from a black man for over a fucking white man any damn day. I ain't like that, no, buddy. I'm a black love right here, honey.
you know something.
Nope.
You know something, gangster grandma. Even outside of my shows, your name is coming up. Anytime somebody talks to me about this show, who the hell is that gangster grandma? I mean, you're starting to get more attention.
You can tell my black ass. I am Afro-Latina, and I stand on my fucking toes, 10 toes down. I ain't no push. I'm not gonna let no motherfucker come at me. I will totally like that. Unlike you, I be seeing you on the Black Maggots lives. Oh, yes. Get the fuck out. Push the fuck back, Tim. Get some fucking kahunas. I got bigger kahunas than you do. I don't even got fucking balls, okay?
First of
I got fake ones. I got toys that got bigger balls than you. Yes.
Jesus Christ. I got way too much phlegm in my lungs to handle this conversation. First of all,
Well, I'm sorry. Go get you some Jack Daniels and some tea or something and clear your lungs out. Because I'm coming for your black ass. I'm so sick of you cupcaking with the white man.
Look,
they will put you in a fucking tree.
Look, we don't always agree, but I respect and enjoy talking to Black MAGA. I don't see any problem with people having a difference of opinion.
Why would you do that when they don't even like your ass? When they would sell you out? When they would throw you under the damn bus? Why would you do that? Oh, I enjoy it. Is your dick getting hard or something? Could you enjoy it?
What
really,
the?
Tim? Really?
What the hell? Okay.
It's the truth. A black maggot will sell your ass out. You think? Let me tell you something. I have a black maggot, and I wish I would. I have a black maggot in my inbox right now. You know what he said? He's a baby. I'll pamper you and everything. You know what I said? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck your mama. Go fuck your daddy. And go fuck anybody else. Because I ain't white. He thought I was a fucking white woman that loves chocolate dangling. Okay?
So wait, hold on. So you're saying,
and I'm not white.
So you're saying even if you were interested in somebody or they had a chance, simply voting for Trump would disqualify that person from being with you?
Hell the fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I got morals. I got respect. I got it. No, honey. You know what I did to my boyfriend? I found that little bitch ass. You know what I did to my boyfriend? That motherfucker, he's a black man. Yeah, he had some good ding-a-ling. You feel what I'm saying? But you know what he did? He voted for Trump. You know what I told him? I went in his little TikTok and he said he voted for Trump. You know what I did? You know what I really did?
Hold on, you're not about to confess to a crime, are you?
I don't give a fuck. I got lawyers on my team. You know what I mean? Let me tell you. I told him this. I said, to the left, bitch. I got Beyonce on to the left, bitch. You know what else I did? I got his jeans and my fucking fat ass bought him, right? You know what I did?
What?
Got me some lighter fluid. You know what I did? Went into the porch and booyah, cuz. Blew the shit up. And you know what I'm saying? Go check it to your maggot ass friends. Tell them and go get your white girlfriend and tell them to go buy your shit again.
Okay,
yes.
I'm going to ask you.
The biggest crying.
I'm going to ask you.
Crying to come back.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question that inevitably comes up every time you're on because you're pretty passionate. Question is, are you sober right now?
Am I sober?
Yeah.
Honey, I don't drink, bitch. Okay, I don't drink. I smoke. herb. Okay, I own a dispensary. I get whatever I want. I got ganja up the ass. You feel what I'm saying? But no, honey, I don't drink. And if I do drink, bitch, I will be drunk as fucking hell, still talking shit to you. But no, I don't drink.
Why am
I'm
I?
high as shit.
Why am I a bitch? I'm just asking a question.
Because
Why?
let me tell you something. Why you a bitch? You me name it all for you? Because you let the white man stay on for more than 10, 15 minutes. Let me break this shit down. I'll give you 3 reasons, okay? The first reason is you a bitch because you be cooning on the other fucking lies. And you don't come back and you don't slap them in the fucking face when they tell you that what we're doing is not a victimhood. You feel what I'm saying? 'Cause I be hearing it. They be telling you, you're playing the victim. No, bitch, we're not. We are, every damn thing else, but we're not the victim. And that ain't another thing why you a bitch. You let the white man come up on your platform, spilling all the hatred and stuff, saying, what DEI is for black people that don't know what they do.
Hold on.
You do. Yes, you do.
Hold on. Before you go into the third one, you're gonna hold on, hang on. Before you go into your third statement, you're gonna chastise me for letting, as you say, the white man come up here and spew all this hatred. Do you realize all the shit you're saying right now? You're not talking love.
It's not hatred. I call him burnt mayonnaise and shit because you can't call him the white tea or she'll go get locked the fuck up on TikTok jail, okay? And they be calling us anything but a fucking black woman and a black man. Do you hear the shit that they be spewing? And then you know that they voted for a racist. Do you think really that we should be kissing their ass because they voted for a racist? Do you know the shit that we're in right now? You know he's banning Muslim countries again. He's banning people from Haiti can't come over now. And it's brown and black people. It ain't no white tea like South Africa can't come over, right? All the shit that he's doing is racist. And you want us to say, yes, master, yes, master, yes, master. Fuck no. I'm giving the shit. Let me tell you, Tim, I'm not nice like you, okay? You are fucking, what is it called? A kiss-ass liberal. You are a yes, master. I'll give them the opportunity to spit all the shit. Then there'll be 11 maggots, okay? That's the one I want to talk to. No, bitch, I am a fucking demon-ass fucking Democrat that would tear you a new asshole and shove it up your own ass and cut your balls off. And I'll hand it right to you. That's what I am. Oh. And I'm proud of it. Damn it, I'm proud of it.
All right, Gayson, I gotta move it on.
I bet you want to go because you let the white man spill all the hatred. But if I come up here and give your balls to you on a fucking platter, oh no, I got to go.
You said a lot, and it's been all damaging.
I said a lot because it's you. You don't come back at him. You need to tell Jeremy to get the fuck up about DEI. You don't tell him that. And you know how stupid Jeremy was? Do you know how dumb and
your conversation.
Get your ass drop out that motherfucker is.
Gayson, wait, hold on.
You won't even tell him this. You tell him this next time, because you won't let my fat ass up here when he's up here. Tell him this. The manufacturers of like Apple and Samsung and all of them shits will never come to the United States. Because nobody with money, not with his little $15 job, like my money, we would never spend it a $3,000 fucking phone. Do you feel me? Apple will be $3,000, and my fucking fat black ass ain't gonna spend it, okay? And I got money. I got more money than Jeremy do. I don't work for no $15 damn. I'm my own boss. How about a black woman with her own boss? See, he works for the white man. That's why he says, yes, master.
All right.
My black ass works for myself. That's why I can stay roll the fuck up. You feel what I'm saying?
All right, I gotta move it on.
You need to push. Now, let me say one more thing. You need to push the fuck back. You need to push the fuck back. Do you understand? Don't let Jeremy and the maggots say shit.
Is that what you're doing right now? Is pushing the fuck back, talking like this?
Yes, I'm pushing the fuck back. I told Jeremy there's a $15 dropout. Oh, I'm a dishwasher. I made $15 fucking dollars, and I voted for Trump. Special ed.
All right.
Does that?
Gayson, I gotta go. Thank you. She don't make it easy. Every time I get done talking to her, I feel like I gotta wipe the sweat off me. She works hard. Man, God. Now I see a lot of folks. There's plenty of folks who do agree with what she's saying, and then of course others think that she's over the top. But who said this shit is funny as fuck? Says all praises to you. God damn, what a motherfucker want to do for show business, right? Tap the screen, get the lights on up. My goodness gracious. I feel like Geraldo in an empty vault right now. Tap the screen, get your boy on up to 65,000. You can make that happen. I'm working hard for you, damn it. I'm working hard for you. You don't see nobody taking an ass whooping like that, do you? Looking in the comments, Supercell Fusion says Trump versus Gangsta Grandma. Breaking news, Tim got beat down. Don't miss it tonight. Main event. Oh my God. LOL, what Tim Gangsta Grandma schooled you? I don't see the schooling. I just see the beating. I don't see where I'm being schooled at all. It's just a trashing. Denkel, thank you. With the good galaxy. It makes me feel a little bit better that somebody out in the universe cares about your boy. Thank you. That galaxy is symbolic right now. After that encounter I just had with Gangsta Grandma. Even though I still consider Gangsta Grandma a friend of the show. You don't have to be you don't have to agree with any damn thing that's said here. And I'm talking to my beloved MAGA viewers all the way on over to my progressive viewers. You don't have to agree with the host. That's how this show works. We go left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with Q. Everybody gets to speak. You can be critical of anyone on the program up to and including the host, which I think Gangsta Grandma probably is the most shining example of that. Supercell Fusion says Tim versus Gangsta Grandma. Just in the newsroom, she made him feel even more sicker. Yeah, she definitely she definitely was triggering all kinds of shit. It made him feel more sicker. Don't miss it tonight on the NBC Nightly News. You know, I could probably take shorts of Gangsta Grandma and probably get hundreds of more viewers just by posting their shorts. But damn, Coonan, what else was she saying I was doing? Look, let me just be candid before I go to the next viewer or caller. When I'm in MAGA and Republican and conservative platforms, I do push back. I'm not going to be calling people crackers and rotting mayonnaise and shit like that. If you make a point and I disagree with it, I push back. But there is something called tact, professionalism. That's just it. Look, when I'm in a live and listen, being someone who leans left, I do get MAGA that talk to me somewhat the way she does. I generally just leave the live. Or I'll point out to the other folks, see, this person obviously has no point because they're just throwing insults. I don't engage in that. So if the hope is that you should push back in the manner of which she was just expressing, you're not going to see that out of me. The whole motto of this show, where everyone can speak, is I say civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle. I never talk down to my guests. I don't want to come across as a know-it-all because a hell of a lot of you know more than I do. We try to maintain a civilized show with everybody from all sides of the aisle here. And you're not going to do that calling one race of people all kinds of insults or favoring one group or not. We try not to do that. I'm not going to be able to read this name, but I do want to thank you for the support. It says she's a cartoon character. It's crazy. Happy Dolt or something? I don't know. You got a name with no vowels in it. Let me go to the box. I mean, I take a beating from Gangsta Grandma every time. There are some conservatives that do it, but Gangsta does it like no other. Dencal. Man, she talked about chopping off my damn testicles and handing them to me. Yikes. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program. Dencal, are you there? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just for the sake of my own damn self. She told me I wasn't shit, but go ahead.
Look, I can appreciate some of the stuff, you know what I'm saying? That like the root of what she's saying, a lot of it is really true.
What?
But it's the way I'm saying as far as her political positions are often true about what she's saying, but the way she expresses herself is like it's hard. It's hard for me to even listen to, and I love a lot of the stuff she's saying, but all of the insults and stuff kind of just clouds out the message.
Yeah. She's becoming my most popular caller. I mean, like I said, even when I'm talking, people are talking to me about. Like I walk up to people that watch me And they'll, man, who was that gangster grandma? Like, how do you take that? I mean, she comes up a lot. I mean, so, but damn. I mean, like, I agree with you. She has probably a lot in common with President Trump, who she despises. But folks say the same thing about Trump, that they agree with the message. They agree with the messenger, but not the way he delivers the message. So she's doing it from a liberal aspect.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a lot different. It's a lot different.
But I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the conservatives often say they like what Trump is saying, just like you mentioned about Gangster Grandma, but sometimes with the name calling and insults, the message gets lost.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Because he do the same thing. Nikki Haley being a bird brain, and Ron DeSanctimonious, and Crazy Bernie, and Nervous Nancy, and Sleepy Joe. He do the same thing, just insults everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were actually talking, and I actually titled the live stream, Elon versus Trump round one. Do you see Elon and Trump having a falling out? Because Elon is now publicly attacking this big, beautiful bill, calling it, well, we talked about it last night when he said it was an abomination, but now he's talking about it's going to bankrupt the country, and he's urging people to call their senators and Congress people. He's posted like 2 or 3 messages today trashing it, saying that the folks who voted for it are wrong, and they know they are. Are they going to fall out?
I mean, is that a rhetorical question? I mean, Trump, you can't even say Trump like got anything wrong without him coming back at you. So for somebody to get on there multiple times in a day on as big as a platform as Elon Musk has, and basically say everybody voted for it should be fired.
Yeah.
That's not even a question. Are they into it?
But what are the chances that Elon, unlike the likes of Nikki Haley and Chris Christie and Michael Cohen and some of the weaker cohorts, what are the chances that Elon may actually have some goods on Trump that may force Trump to take a back seat and not say anything?
Well, we know he is, because he hasn't said a word yet. Yeah. We know there's certain people that Trump. I mean, I'm talking about it could be my daughter could say something on her college.
And he would say something back. Yeah, he would attack her.
He found out about it. Yeah. He gonna say something to her. So there's no way he don't know, and he ain't looking at this, but he ain't gonna say nothing, because it's certain people, Putin, it's certain people he not gonna say nothing about, no matter what they do.
But let me ask it to you this way. If you got Elon pulling one way on, let's say, the big, beautiful bill, which is Trump's signature piece of legislation right now. Trump doesn't have a lot that he's done legislatively through both houses. I mean, most of the shit he's done has been executive order. So this is one of his big pieces of legislation. What are the chances that if Elon is pulling one way and Trump is pulling the other way, MAGA will go with Elon? Do you think that there's anybody that would do that?
Well, it's I think it's kind of a little different when you're talking about the Senate, because Senate, they could agree with him, but they on a different kind of level. Like they might agree with him, but it's very few of them that are MAGA, like just going no matter what. So these guys know, like, if you think about it from the perspective of what happened when Biden took office, and he had the inflation was starting to go up because of COVID and everything, and he passed all of them bills. And remember, they said that him passing all of those financial bills is what caused inflation to go up. Mm-hmm. So we're in a similar situation right now, and they want to add $3 to $5 trillion to the economy like that, and they not thinking nothing about what's about to happen. Even the Fed, Powell is telling you, no, I'm not about to lower these rates, because it's going to add to inflation.
Well, first of all, they're not even admitting that it's going to add to inflation or increase the deficit. And before you continue, Black Power in the comments says, we lost the election in a blink. You have to look at Starlink. I think you're singing the words to that song. We got a rapist for a president. He'll take that over black and it's evident. It's turning out to be a hit song. I think that's part of the lyrics to that. But they're saying that the big beautiful bill is not even going to increase the deficit. Trump is not even admitting that that's going to happen.
No, I don't think nobody's saying that it's not going to raise the deficit. What they're saying is we're going to have so much economic growth and so much income coming back into the government that we're going to be able to start paying down the debt. That's what they're saying. But there's nobody out there saying the way that he's doing it is going to increase GDP. Like, you can't kick out all of the workers.
Yeah.
And just have everybody's income stagnant and think you just going to increase production in America, especially with all of these tariffs.
Yeah.
He keeps saying shit and people keep somehow wanting to just believe him. But I don't know any person that's halfway, I'm not going to say that some of the MAGA people are not intelligent, but I think it's kind of misguided for them to just act like he somehow knows better than I'm talking about Jamie Dimon. I'm talking about all of the most wealthiest men, the smartest economic people in the world are saying this shit is crazy.
Well, when the man says he knows more about this or that than anybody, there are people who do buy into it. I think the issue is that, yes, some people buy into what Trump is saying so much that even when he backtracks, they're bought into it. They can't turn back themselves. Like I was in a MAGA live earlier. That might be what Gangsta Grandma was talking about. But they're still blaming the Ukraine for the Russian war. They're still saying that the Ukrainians are the one that started. Now Trump is not even saying that anymore. But they were sold a bill of goods in the beginning. Trump, Tucker Carlson going over there talking about it's a great place to visit and all of this shit. And now, even though Trump is admitting that it does seem like the Russians are the ones that do not want to cease fire, they're stuck in this atmosphere where they got to keep saying that the Russians are actually innocent victims in this. They were swearing up and down that, the Ukrainians are the bad guy and the Russians were just going about their business and the Ukrainians invaded them and shit. I'm like, what? I mean, they really believe that.
So what are they saying now? Remember Trump about 2 weeks ago said, hey, you guys, everybody just chill out. I just need to have a conversation with Putin and all of this is gonna be fixed. What are they saying about that? I mean, I haven't talked to
negotiate. It takes time to negotiate. He's a negotiator.
Well, he just had a conversation today, and they said they talked about it briefly, but they started talking about Iran and some other stuff.
Yeah.
And he talking about, what he talked about today is not really going to bring anything to an end.
Well, I've played the clip on here. Not only did he say they talked about Iran, but Trump referred to the conversation with Putin as a good phone call. Even though Putin, and this is a quote, Putin did say very strongly that he will have to respond to the recent attack on airfields, talking about it in the Ukraine. So you asked, well, how did the conversation go with Putin? It was a good conversation. Well, what did he say? He's about to blow shit up. Like, how was that a good conversation? The man told you.
Right. But we talking about the guy who said he's tired of all the killing. I have to keep going back to what the man said going in. They keep saying, well, the Democrats lost because of this and because of that. And none of them are willing to recognize he conned you into being something that he wasn't. He is not a great businessman. He does not know how to, on the international stage, to negotiate. Like, he's digging himself a hole with these tariffs that the American people are going to have to dig out of ourselves.
You don't think Trump is a good businessman?
I don't believe. Well, listen, I believe that he knows a little bit about real estate. Let's say that. But he's got his hands in all of this other stuff. And listen, if I got, a whole bunch of fanatical followers, I don't have to be a good businessman. I just have to say, look, come buy this stuff from me. That doesn't make you a good businessman.
Well, I mean,
a good businessman takes things that are not doing good and he revives them into something that makes money. That's not what he does. He breaks shit, then he fixes it, after he broke it, and then he says, "Look how great everything is."
I mean, in my opinion, if you can tell people to come buy shit and they show up and buy it, like a Kim Kardashian can do that, then to me, you're a good businessman. Whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, your goal is to sell shit. If you're selling shit, then you should qualify as a good businessman.
I don't know. I mean, I don't view like business maybe the same as you do. Just saying because you sell shit, you a good businessman. Like, you know, we know Schmittler was he a good salesman?
He sold a lot of Volkswagens. He sold a lot of Volkswagens.
But it don't make him a good businessman.
He was well. I don't know if he was actually involved in the selling of anything. He was just trying to conquer lands. But if you are intentionally selling things and you're selling a lot of it, and Trump does qualify to some degree in some areas, I think he's a good businessman. We can talk about morals and all that other stuff, but
I'll say he's the greatest con man we've ever seen. How's that? Is that better?
In some cases, there's only a small inkling of separation between a con man and a businessman anyway. I mean, a lot of salespeople, that's exactly what they're doing, is they're conning you.
Yeah. Well, whatever that separation is, that's where I'm at. He's not. I don't believe he's a good. All of the business, all of the people. He's like this man. This man created a fake university and had to pay all of those people back, and now he's trying to tell Harvard and Columbia what to do. Yeah. That's not a good businessman. No, it's not. Bankrupting casinos. How is that good business?
Yeah, there is I'll admit.
Every product he's made just about has gone bankrupt.
Yeah, I'll admit there is a lot of hypocrisy because you hear them talking about now they want to have a Cobra Kai, sweep the leg, no mercy approach towards immigrants. I don't care if you committed a crime 30, 40 years ago. You need to go even if you got a green card and permanent residency, yet he's pardoning murderers and shit like that. So, yeah, there is some hypocrisy to it. You want the immigrants to be perfect, but you literally are taking on a whole war path of pardoning the imperfect. So, I don't understand that. He is kind of hypocritical from that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like today, with more of his flood in the zone, like he's coming out saying the same guys from Afghanistan that he said Biden left behind, all of those interpreters that were working to help us during Afghanistan, all of those people now, he is now saying that that Afghanistan is not stable enough to be able to give us the proper information we need to vet these people. Now we done vetted them through the military. They've been embedded with our military out there every day, going door to door in these places. Now he's just saying they all got to go back.
Yeah, and this is the same thing I said with the Iran deal, where Trump broke the Iran deal after Obama and said it was a bad deal and just broke it. He is making it look like for you to take America's word or work with America and trust this nation, you just a dumb fuck. So now you're telling folks who put their lives on the line to work with U.S. GIs in Afghanistan that you're going to send them back and I mean, literally just giving them to the Taliban. Some of them folks guaranteed will be imprisoned or slaughtered. Why would you work with America in the future after seeing what he did to this? Because the people don't see this as Trump, Biden, Obama. They see it as America. America had these people work with them. When they got what they wanted out of these people, they sent the folks back into the hands of the enemy where they all got. Isn't this what we did in the first Iraq War? Where we told the folks that they rose up against Saddam Hussein, we would help them.
The Kurds.
Yeah, and then George H.W. Bush just pulled out and left them, and that's why W. Bush went back claiming they're killing their own people. No, they're killing the people that you told to rise up against them. So I don't know why people work with the United States. I don't know why anybody trusts us.
Just think of this list of people he's banning: Myanmar, Chad, the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia. Now, have any of those people?
It is dark than a motherfucker in here. I'm hearing that list. It is dark in a motherfucker in here. But go ahead.
2 weeks ago, he went down there, and all of the countries that's been involved in all of the T group shit, talking about Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all of them peoples in Syria, all of them people, he's sitting there having a sword dance with all of the people that really did damage to this country during, during
9/11, yeah.
During 9/11. He up there having dinner with them, and now he talking about people from Cuba, Togo. Think about it, Togo.
Trump is
people from Togo.
I would just say this: Trump is transactional. If any of those countries were willing to purchase a decent Starlink contract or something like that, they could probably get that lifted. I mean, Trump is transactional. You can buy your way out of that. So if you don't have the money yourself to do it, but you got a friend like France or somebody else you got a few, you got money in other places, you can buy your way out of that band. Trump is transactional. You can definitely get out of that if you put money in the right place.
I get that, but I'm trying to look at this list and kind of understand where it, and it leads me, I'm trying not to, but it keeps leading me back to like everybody in that list is brown. Like I'm trying to
That's what I said when you was reading it out. I said, it's getting dark as hell in here. Let me ask you this. Gary B in the comments said, this is why 2 4-year terms is ridiculous. He says a president needs 10 years to enact a plan. At least 2 terms of 10 should be allowed. So a president in office for potentially 20 straight years. What say you, Dinka?
No, it's the reason why all of the forefathers and everybody along the way, we've been doing it for 200 and something years now. We don't need to go to no 2. He's only saying that because of one person.
Trump. So what he said? You trying to suggest
he wasn't saying that when Obama was in office. He damn sure wasn't saying that when Biden was in office. Yes, we need every 4 to 8 years. We need to have a referendum and look at what our top leader is doing. That's what sets us apart from all of these other countries. That's why China don't have to worry about going into a recession because their leader is there forever.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100% because, it's the love of Trump is so great that you realize some of his radical policies are not going to stick once he leaves office. So you want him in there as long as possible because he don't went too far to the right in some of these areas. The racial orientation stuff he's talking about. I mean, we can say what we want about how he used to hang around rappers or he pardoned a bunch of black rappers or Oprah used to love him. He's running a pro-white administration. I don't think that's up for denial anymore. He is running a pro-white administration. Now, whether you agree that whites have gotten the short end of the stick over the last generation or so, we can talk about that for whatever it's worth. But with Elon too, because that's all they're talking about is that white people were being mistreated, and we got to correct that. Whether it's DEI, affirmative action, you're talking about genocide in South. It's a pro-white administration. And, I guess you would want him there for 10 to 20 years because you could kind of cement that in.
Right, but wouldn't it be better if he was proven that this DEI was harming the country and now he came in with this anti-DEI and now he brought in competent people with merit, he would maybe have an argument, but we got the Secretary of Education who can't even fucking multiply. She doesn't know.
You talking about Linda McMahon?
Yeah, they got her up there, and she was talking about it was something that was hundreds of millions, and she was calling it trillions. Like she didn't even know. Like some of the, she didn't know about the.
You raise a good point. With her, and you got Christy Nome not even knowing what habeas corpus is. You got Pete Hegseth using Signal app. You talk about DEI. Do these people really have the merit? Now, see in the comments, someone said, Mr. D said, I love my white friends, no matter what the left says. I love my white friends too. This isn't what that's about. We're talking about a pro-white agenda. You can love your black friends as well, but the country's not running a pro-black agenda. But but when we talk about lack of merit, now Trump, his administration is essentially all white. But do you see them as having merit? Because he's making it clear merit is important.
I mean, all you have to do, and I know it's a laborious task to sit there and watch these people have these committee meetings, and they bring in Cash Patel, they bring them all in, and they ask them simple questions like, "You're at a budget meeting, Cash. Where is your budget?" Well, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Well, what are we supposed to do at this meeting if you don't have a budget? Can you tell us about some of the line items so we can discuss those items? Well, I'll have to get those to you when I can. Well, you know it's mandated by Congress that you're supposed to have your budget. Well, you know.
Yeah. These are what amounts to rookie mistakes. You would have to expect them to ask these questions. And like I said, when you talk about Christy Nome not knowing what habeas corpus means, you've been a governor. You don't know what this means. You were the governor of South Dakota. You don't know what this means. And then, like I said, you're talking about Hexef with the Signal app, where you got half the military all over social media. Like, I would have got my ass handed to me for doing some shit like that. And this guy, well, just a mistake. We were playing around. And then he got caught doing it again. He's in a meeting again. When they got a picture of his phone, he's still on the motherfucker. Like,
in front of everybody.
Yeah. What the hell is wrong with this? My guess is they got, at least with the Signal app and Hexef, there was permission for that right on up to the top. It wouldn't surprise me it would not surprise me if they were wanting to do stuff where there was no trace of it, so that maybe in the future the liberals can't come along and try to impeach Trump or something. They wanted to do something off the norm where it could not be kept track of. And
exactly, and that's why they said that from the top. They said that it was put on their phones on purpose.
Yeah. Wow. So
why would you do that? Trump is having the Oval Office meeting and his phone is going off in the Oval Office. That's just so unprofessional and disrespectful. He looking, that's some of the people from Congress wanting to talk to me and ignoring the phone. Like that shit.
Yeah, he did say that. He said there's somebody from Congress again. Like, yeah, that was.
Yeah.
He's a new.
Like they don't know what the hell is going on. That you having impromptu meetings with a dude in the background looking all around crazy, Elon Musk, like he high off ketamine and shit, looking crazy with a black eye and shit.
Have you heard that? Now it's rumors, it's speculation. You know, like they said.
No, it's not rumors. It's not. He's already been on. He was. Don Lemon interviewed him, and he was talking about his ketamine use.
So Elon is drugged up.
Yeah, he told. Just that's part of the reason why he fired Don Lemon from Twitter after that interview. He said Don Lemon asked him about his ketamine use, and he said that's kind of impolite to ask people about their medical situation. And then he just started talking about him using ketamine.
What is ketamine? I'm not aware. What is that?
It's something that I believe it's an upper, something that keeps you like hype. Like people take it to, like college students take it to like stay up and write papers and shit all night. Like, and like that guy is constantly wired, man. They could say that shit if they want to about he got autism. Did you see the way he acts? I'm talking about in public, when he's in a public setting, man, and he be looking crazy and blinking his eyes and just looking. Don't
go into the blinking eyes, because I get trashed. Because when I start talking, I do that, and people trash me all in the comments.
You don't do that. You don't be looking like you watching Channel Zero on TV. Like you staring into the abyss.
Oh shit. Well, I don't know. The guy may be wired, but he sure busts a lot of nuts. That guy. I mean, how many kids that dude got? God, he definitely is he hanging out with Nick Cannon must be. I mean, that guy works.
He's knocking down Stephen Miller's old lady right now.
But I mean, let's just be real. I mean, we can say what we want about Elon. Can you imagine pissing on a stick and getting confirmation that you about to have a shorty with him? Like, I mean, can you just hear the dollar signs like the money? You know, remember Bernie Mac in the Players Club?
And you see the chicks as like Instagram models.
Yeah.
influencers on social media.
You wake up and find out you pregnant by Elon Musk. You calling? I don't work here no more. What did the dude say? Mama, I ain't never coming home again. I'm good.
I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit no more.
Right.
Whatever they was doing, I don't do that no more.
Hell yeah, it's kind of like Bernie Mac and Players Club. The money. I mean, you getting paid. I mean, I don't even know what the support would be on that, but it's got to be crazy.
I know I told you I was gonna still stay in the hood if I got some money, but once I got my check, I was gone.
I'm sure these chicks, the minute Elon Musk go off in them, they lay in bed in that prone position, maybe even put their legs in the air for the next 6 hours. I'm making sure this shit sinks in. I ain't losing a drop.
With a turkey baster, you know what I'm saying? They got putting pins in. Well, they ain't got to worry about that because he's straight raw dog. It ain't no protection going on with him because they said he want to try. He don't want to take care of them, but he just want to try. He just want to contribute to society by impregnating as many women as he can.
Any chance he looking?
That's the guy we chose. That's the guy we chose to have access to all our information and to fire all of our public, all of our what do you call them? The public workers.
Yeah, federal workers. Do you think there's any chance well, first of all, do you think there's any chance the Democrats are going to do well in the midterms?
Yes. Because a lot of this tariff stuff is gonna have come to a head by the end.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people that they're not going to be. They can be in denial all they want to right now because, like I said, many times to you before, it hasn't actually hit yet. We haven't seen no empty shelves. We haven't seen major moves yet, but it's coming now because all of this stuff he's doing with steel tariff. Do you know how many people purchase steel products? That's the whole. That's the whole damn auto industry.
Not to mention, I'm curious to see what happens with all the missing immigrant labor. I mean, people are saying it's not that bad. I don't think folks realize Trump has only been in office for a very short period of time. He's done a lot in this short period of time. So you got to get his stuff time to culminate. There's a lot of missing labor, whether it's in the federal government, as you're pointing out, or whether it's farmers and immigrants. I mean, eventually I do agree with you. Eventually you're going to start seeing a sum of all this missing labor, and it's not going to be good.
Right. And I don't know if you checked it. I know we talked about it the other day about how, about them on those work sites taking dozens and dozens of people away and also the other people that's, that was in that little town. I think they was in Maine or New Hampshire or something.
I heard about the one in Maine. Yeah.
Like it's a lot. It's a lot happening now. And now
what are
they 500,000.
When you mention the immigrants getting rounded up, now Trump won at least the Hispanic male vote. He didn't win the Hispanic female vote, but he did pretty good in that area too. What are the chances in the midterms that the Hispanic vote will still lean as far to the right as it has? Because it wasn't the black vote. He won. I think he got 22% of the black male vote, so he did increase a little bit. The sisters didn't fuck with him. 7% or something like that. Kamala got like 91% or something like that of the black women vote. But it was the Hispanics that put Trump where he is. Do you think that the Hispanics, considering how many of them are being rounded up all over the country, do you think they'll change their tune?
Oh yeah. The black men, see, they're not really being affected because we're not necessarily getting hunted down and transferred out of the country. So a lot of the black men are not really feeling it. But you just think about the whole population, all of those Cubans down there in Dade County who flipped that place for the first time, like damn near in history. Now, Cuba is a part of that band now. They can't even go back and forth to see their family anymore. So even if they are citizens now, or whatever, they can't even travel. They can't even see their people no more. If that don't make them change their tune, maybe the grip that Trump has on them is deeper than I'd like to believe. But I think people are gonna start, man. When you start saying like you can't even go home to you can't even go see your people no more. It's one thing to vote for him because you think Kamala is a socialist and she's like Fidel, but it's another thing when they come in and pick your ass up, and even if you legit, you can't even go see your people no more.
Yeah, if you're not an American citizen at this point, in my opinion, you probably should not leave the country. You don't want anything to do with customs. I don't care if you don't have a criminal record or anything. If you're in the country and you're safe and sound, stay in the country. If you got people that live overseas, you probably need to let them know I can't really see you right now until after the Trump administration is over. I wouldn't even risk it. I would not even risk going to and from.
I got a trip planned like next month to go to Bali. I'm thinking, man. Damn. I done paid for the whole trip, but I'm like, man.
I can see it now. I can see you on set. Like, I know that Negro. I used to talk to him online. Damn. I wonder if they got TikTok in Bali. Yeah.
You know they can. You know that now when you come back into the country, they can take your phone and you got to open it for them now.
That is crazy. So the thing about it, if they take my shit and I don't reset it and they log into it, ain't nothing there, do you think they're going to trust that? I mean, so it's like, you almost want to travel. You almost want to get one.
List.
Huh?
Tim, you on the list, man. I'm just saying, Tim, you on the list, baby boy. I'm sorry to tell you, but you are a content creator. You have a large following, and when they see you, they're gonna be like, random check. Yeah. Random check, come on to the back.
You trying to tell me you trying to tell me I'm gonna go in the back room and there's gonna be a woman with a wand like gangster grandma? I don't know. I gotta go. Go. Appreciate it.
So you be look, I'm debatable, but you better really think about leaving the country right now, man. You better take you a burner phone.
I thought that's what I thought. Stop off at Walmart, get a flip. And if you really need your phone on the other end, FedEx that motherfucker there. But I agree with you. I would not carry my devices.
They still gonna put you in the back now because your name is gonna have a big red check next to it when you're going through customs. I'm just saying.
I'm coming through like Trump 2028. I'm gonna go buy special gear for that trip. I'm gonna come through with a big ass Trump, Arnold Schwarzenegger muscle shirt on and shit. I might even go Confederate flag. I gotta go. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. Thank you. Stay here, Tim, says Arletha. Yeah, I'm just going to say I do have a concern about that. We're laughing about it. I seen the comments. James Brian said it's all entertainment to some degree, but people getting held up, deported, or just simply detained for months, it ain't entertainment to them. I had a story on last night, we talked about on my live last night, of a woman, 64 years old. She has a green card, permanent residency. She's not an illegal alien. She's not here undocumented. She has permanent residency. She's been in the country for 50 years. So she's 64. That means she's been in the country since she was a high schooler. And she does have a crime. She does have a conviction on her record, embezzlement. Now, I looked up the case. We talked about it last night. She ended up having to pay the court $6,000 for her conviction. So, $6,000 probably includes penalties and fees and fines and shit like that. So I don't know what, whatever she took, but chances are it was only $2 or $3,000 because they made her pay back $6,000, and she long since have paid the $6,000 back. 2001 is when she got that embezzlement charge. And when she came back in the country at 64 years of age, she went to visit family in the Philippines. When she came back in the country this February, they detained her based on that 2001 conviction with full intent to deport her back to the Philippines, for which she has not lived there since she was basically in elementary school. She was in custody for 3 months. Fortunately, she was able to hire a lawyer and took it to court, and the judge ruled in her favor. But they were genuinely going to kick her out. They were going full speed ahead with that. They just lost in court for something from 2001. So I get folks saying that it's all entertainment, but it ain't for people like that. Almost a quarter century ago, that case is 2001, and they coming up and telling you this case is the reason you're going to get deported, despite you having a green card and permanent residency. I mean, shit, the United States is probably all she really knows at this point. She's been here that fucking long. They're going to send her home. Looking in the comments real quick, I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me, RFK Jr. Yeah, that's another one that he said. These are people that's supposed to have the merit. Now, real quick before we go to the next caller, I'm going to ask that you tap the screen. We should have been around 90 by now, but tap the screen, get us at least to about 80,000. Show the program some love. Tap the screen, get the likes up. If you leave, wait out Trump. If you can afford to do all of that, I would assume with a really savvy attorney, you might, as an American citizen now, be able to claim asylum in another country. Like, Rosie O'Donnell went to live in Ireland. Richard Gere is living in Spain, from Pretty Woman, Richard Gere, and Officer and a Gentleman, he lives in Spain now. Ellen DeGeneres lives in the UK. Some of these people have fled. And certainly if you're a trans person, there might be, if you got the right attorney and you can get to the right sympathetic immigration officer in other countries, you might be able to get a sympathetic ear and be able to plead asylum. There's no denying on the world stage that America's become anti-LGBTQ. There are nations that are now advising their LGBTQ citizens to think twice before coming to America. So I think we're getting to that point where you may start having Americans seeking asylum in other countries. Getting there, not there yet, getting there. As, for lack of a better word, I hate to use this word, but as the noose continues to tighten, you may start having that. Because when we started kicking out immigrants during Trump's first term, Canada offered asylum status to anybody coming across the southern border. If you could make it to Canada, they would give you a visa. So you may start having that from American citizens. Like I said, the LGBTQ community, Hispanics, maybe blacks, who knows what may happen. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening, but you may, if we keep going far enough to the right, because you know what happens in far right countries, people are going to lose rights. I mean, we can say it's fear mongering, we can say it won't happen, but far right countries are not free. I don't know how far to the right we'll go under Trump. And I'm not saying Trump would take us there, but I do feel that if you have far right legislators that are in lower areas like states' rights, and he'll let them do it. Forcing the Bible in school, some of these abortion bans where they're talking about putting a woman in prison for having, all of that kind of stuff. Forcing, women that are the subject of rape to have the kid anyway. Otherwise, if she tries to do something, she'll get a murder charge. I could see some of them folks having a case in the near future. Anyway, looking in the comments real quick, other countries have lifetime leaders. When you have one that is putting the people in country first, it doesn't sound like a bad idea. Well, Thomas Lanham, I don't think everybody in the country feels that way, though. That's the difference. I don't think everybody in the country feels that he's putting the people in the nation first. I think some people feel like he's putting certain people in the country first. That's the difference. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get us on up to 80. We can make that happen. Tim, don't leave the country, please. I'm literally going to cry, says Super Cell Fusion. Damn, I won't have anybody to keep me entertained or to really say thank you a lot and great. Well, hopefully if I went somewhere else, I can still do the show. I've actually done some shows from Mexico when I was on a cruise and things like that. There's a couple of my shows in there. So hopefully, but remember, if we go too far to the right, doesn't matter if I leave the country or not, this kind of shit will be stopped anyway. If you're online criticizing the president and it's a far right environment, that's going to probably be outlawed. They would probably stop it. Or you could start hearing stories of people that were doing it being treated so badly that it would motivate you to stop talking bad about the president. If you hear that he's making examples of other people, if I'm coming home from work and I see a whole squad full of cops dragging my neighbor out, giving him road rash on his knees and shit, and he's all bloodied in the face. And I asked my other, what the hell happened to him? He was in the basement talking about Trump and shit. They came and I'm offline. That's it for me. That shit's over with. So you don't have to necessarily do it to everybody. You can fuck up a few people publicly and get everybody else to soften up. So hopefully it doesn't get to that. But in far right countries, criticizing the leadership is not allowed. We, the far right, are listening but not paying any attention to nonsense. Well, if you favor the far right, you don't have to pay attention to nonsense because you favor what's happening. Simple as that. I think the issue is you don't feel like it's going to happen to you. But then when it starts happening to you, it's no longer nonsense. It's kind of like, I don't give a shit what you do as long as you're doing it to them over there. Real quick before I go to the next caller, and I hope you guys are tapping the screen, give me up to 80. This is something I wanted to hear because this is astonishing. This kind of describes what Trump has been saying about the Russian-Ukrainian war. And the numbers are off the chain.
Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the aggressor's army had lost over 900,000 military personnel. These are the figures provided by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Of this, approximately 250,000 were killed, according to the Ministry of Defense of the UK. These are the largest losses Russia has suffered since World War II. The highest number of casualties are among people from remote regions of Russia, particularly ethnic minorities.
Now, I don't know if you could hear through the accent this woman had, but they're estimating now on this video. This video is dated. When is this video dated? This video is dated from 2 months ago. 2 months ago. At the time this video was filmed, they're talking about 900,000. I heard today that this month they expect Russia to reach 1 million casualties. 1 million. What the hell are they fighting for? I mean, there's got to be a lot of single brides in Russia at this point. How about single Russian brides.ru? I mean, man, you should be to get a single woman in Russia like nothing. There's got to be a lot of single women over there. 1 million dead. They already had the draft. Some of these dudes fighting have got to start being my age and shit like that. I mean, at some point, you run out of 17, 18, and 19-year-olds. You got to start upping it. I mean, that's how our draft is designed. There's a certain age group they get. Once they run out of that, they go up and up and up and up. Shit, they got to be sending 40-year-olds in the war. 1 million dead. Can you imagine what that's doing to their infrastructure, to their labor force and stuff like that? You don't have as many men. That's got to be hurting their country. When is the draft? I believe in Russia, they've already drafted people. I think Russia's already had a draft because of this war. The Wagner group was guns for hire. Yeah, that was different though. And of course, the Russians were not even admitting the Wagner group was part of them. Was not even admitting it. Fuck around and find out Gen X. Now, Gen X, you were correcting me earlier. So we'll bring Gen X on. He's certainly MAGA, always a friend of the program. What am I getting wrong, Gen X?
What up, Tim?
Not much at all. What am I getting wrong on this? Why is Trump saying he had a good phone call with Putin when Putin is talking about he about to go to the Ukraine and blow more shit up?
Well, because maybe he did.
If the man is making it clear he's about to go and kill people right after he get done talking to you, how is that a good phone call?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Every time that Trump has talked to Putin and gotten some kind of resolution, what's happened?
I don't know if he's ever gotten a resolution. What do you mean gotten a
He's
resolution?
never gotten a resolution. That's not what I said. I said some kind of resolution.
I don't know if he's ever gotten some kind of resolution.
All right, well, let me help you out.
Sure.
Every time that Trump has talked to Putin and he's gotten even an iota of a resolution, the Ukraine bombs Russia. Like the same night. Now, you mean to tell me, and be honest, Tim, if me and you are at war and we're talking, and the night that we come to some kind of even a far off put fucking resolution, The person you're fighting with blows up 40 of your bombers, does this, does that, hits your city. Are you going to be willing to keep with that fucking that resolution?
I would agree with you, but I don't believe that's what's happening. I want you to hear this, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
It is what's happening, bro. It's happening every fucking minute.
I haven't even heard Trump accuse the Ukrainians of breaking a ceasefire. I've never heard him even say that. I've only heard Trump accuse Russia of breaking ceasefires. I want you to hear this, and we'll talk about it because it goes in line with what you're saying.
To be fair, before you do that, to be fair, they're both breaking the ceasefire.
This morning,
I'm not going to sit here and fucking cheerlead for Russia, and they're doing the same shit that the Ukraine is doing.
I don't think.
But it takes two to tango.
How can Ukraine break a ceasefire when there's still Russians in their country? I mean, if Russia leaves the Ukraine, the war is over with. That's where the problem is. You're talking about this. You haven't even left the nation. You still got people on our soil talking about a ceasefire. If the Russians go back to their homeland, that war is over with. I don't think it's a matter of.
And right there, we're going to get into a bigger conversation that we don't need to have because we're not going to agree on it.
I need to know. What are you about to say?
The people in Donbass, in Crimea, and the two other regions that Russia has demanded that they surrender to Russia are Russian-speaking people, most of them, over 80%.
Okay, over 80% of the people in South Texas speak Mexican, speaks Hispanic or Spanish.
No, that's not true.
You don't think 80? Wait. You don't think 80% of the people in Southern Texas speak Spanish? Really?
Nope, it's under 60. I Google it. It's under 60.
No. I mean, I was an over the road driver. You talking about places like Seguin and Laredo and shit where I used to deliver loads. That shit looks like Little Mexico. You're saying it's only 60%?
You're talking small communities with a population of under 100,000. If you up to DFW, Houston,
that's not Southern
San Antonio.
That's not Southern true. Texas. I said Southern Texas. Dallas is not Southern Texas. That's East Texas.
Oh, now you're quantifying your argument. Okay, yeah. I get it.
Yeah, you want to take part of something, then part of Texas could go to Mexico, based on what you're saying. Because most of the people in Southern Texas speak Spanish. You can't just chop a country in half because some of the residents in that country want to be part of a different country. That ain't how it works. And then you don't get to invade the country because, well, some of your people want to be part of us.
I said this before, it worked like that in Crimea. That's exactly how it worked.
And I think most of the free world thought that was wrong.
All right, hold on. Can we have a more friendly conversation?
Initiate it.
All right. I want to give you a quiz.
Okay.
Try to guess who I am now. You put the holy shit on my God. You don't know nothing but
You're somebody's grandma.
All right.
She's an unforgettable caller. That's all I can say. She's an unforgettable caller. She thinks you guys are.
She was straight disrespectful tonight, and that's I get bucking your system because I do it all the time.
But hold on, did you see when you were doing that and you told me to guess who that was? Black Power in the comments said it sounds like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So there you go.
I'd say they're one and the same.
Ooh, okay, all right. Yeah, she was a bit racist, for lack of a better term. I'm not going to mince words on it, but yeah,
a little bit off-putting. Yeah. Those are nice words.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get passionate guests. She's probably the most passionate. Thank you, None Useful says, great show. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, she was. Yeah, I don't entertain. Look, I'm for free speech, so I'm not going to censor people. But I don't.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah, I don't go that far down into. I mean, something mayonnaise and crackers and all of this other shit she was talking about. But I guess she's had problems with the white community throughout her life or something. I don't know. She has white fatigue.
White fatigue. That's an interesting word.
You ever heard of black fatigue?
Yeah.
You know
and
what
I'd like to correct that.
Oh.
Us white folks don't have black fatigue. You know what? I like black folks. In fact, I've got a lot of friends, including yourself, that are black.
Thank you.
I do not have black fatigue. What I have, and what many of us have, is ghetto fatigue. And I think there's a big difference. And ghetto doesn't define black people at all. You got white folks that are ghetto. You got Asians that are ghetto. You got black folks that are ghetto. Ghetto fatigue is what's really got me like fucking what the fuck, man.
Asian? You got Asians in the ghetto? Where that happens at?
Not very many.
Yeah,
not very many. Now
Asian.
there is no Indians because you cannot get an Indian guy that talks ghetto that you take seriously. Let's go ahead and do a drive-by. We will go ahead and take you and shoot you up.
Oh my
It
God.
just don't work.
I'm dealing with a cold and you really triggered it with that. Oh my God. But I do want you to I want you to hear
How you
this
feeling,
clip.
Tim?
I'm
How you feeling?
I'm still under the weather, man.
Those summer colds are the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a cold in about a year, so I guess I was overdue to have one. But yeah, it's been knocking me on my ass. So I'm trying to. I do have my voice, so we can say that and we can have a conversation. But man, not equivalent to the
brother,
rescue.
I shot Cal a message, Mister. This motherfucker ain't got shit. He's broke.
You heard that. You heard that.
Come out there and pay to have a meeting with me, you, Cal, and Mike. I'll pay for the whole thing, all travel expenses. No joke. And that's not the flex. That's just because I'd really like to sit down with you three and have a conversation.
That would be good shit. That is a motherfucking flex, though.
But they're gonna say, "Oh, he's a proud boy. He's gonna have this one here, and don't trust him, brother." Tim, I love you. You're a good motherfucker, bro. I have no qualms with you at all.
Yeah, see, this conversation right here is going to appear on the next Talk with Gangsta Grandma. She going to tell me I was fluffing. She going to tell me I was taking it up the ass from you. This is the kind of shit that gets Gangsta Grandma up in a bunch on this.
No, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. What she's going to say is, "Tim, you fluffing that motherfucker don't do shit. And if you don't, that's a motherfucking white man that ain't care about shit." That's what she's going to say.
She's in the comments right now, and she is saying indeed that I'm fluffing right now. She's saying it.
Bro, I'd say bring us up both together, but I will not even entertain that idiocy. I just can't. I can't.
All right. Well, what about Dencal suggesting that you would have Enrico Taddeo at the fucking meeting?
Nope, I would not do it. Yeah, that'd be a great idea, but I wouldn't do that. I'd say I'll come out there. Me, you, Dencal, Mike. I really love to Mike the Boss there because I like Mike the Boss. I think he's got a lot of good shit to say. I think he's a bit misinformed, but I think he's a very smart individual. I think Dencal's a very smart individual. I think a positive dialogue between the three of us, and they would never, and I hate to speak for them, but they would never speak a cross word about me if they met me, because I'm not a racist. I don't give a fuck about your skin color. I don't care.
Well, and I'm not saying that you're racist or any of this stuff, but I will say this. You rarely encounter somebody who is racist that actually admits it. Most people who are racist will tell you they're not. I'm just telling you that. I'm not saying you are at all, but I mean, there's a reason why they're all walking down the street wearing masks and shit like that. They don't want you to know what they actually stand for, because a lot of these people are your local baker or your local attorney, or you're working at the doctor's office, or one of them might be a cop. They don't want you to know who they are.
Well, Tim, I've admitted that to you before. Yes, I'm a racist. Every motherfucker is a racist. Everyone. In our own right, we all have fucking biases. All of us. We're all racist.
Biases? Wait.
Do I hate black people because of the color of their skin? Absolutely fucking not.
But Jenna,
do I hate the behavior of ghetto people? Yeah, I do.
But Gen X, being biased and racist are two different things. Bias or stereotyping people might be, look, whites tend to have better credit or they might live in better neighborhoods. That's stereotype. Racism is usually about hate. It's about, I don't like that person. I don't like that group of
Exactly.
people.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
But
you said it.
But you just said I am a racist. You didn't say I have stereotypes of bias. You said I'm a racist.
No, I said that I have racist tendencies like every person on this planet.
I don't think I got way
every one
too.
of us.
I don't think I have any hatred towards, let's say, the white. I mean, with shit, listen to Gangsta Grandma. I got a bunch of white people hanging around me right now. I don't have any hatred, any racist tendencies towards whites. And
hold on, Tim. Racism is not about hatred. Let me ask you this. You walk up, you want to go out, you want to have Chinese food. There's two restaurants. You see one restaurant, bunch of China people making Chinese food. The second one is a bunch of black folks making Chinese food. Where are you going to eat? You're going to eat with the fucking Chinese folks.
I don't want the DEI meal, okay? I want the people that's cooking it that have merit. But I don't think that's a good example. I don't think that's racist, though. I'm talking about, to me...
I think that's a great example. It's racism, but it's not... See, racism, everybody quantifies racism as a negative thing. And it is. If you look at the core of racism, it absolutely is. But everybody's racist. We all are.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I know too many people that have friends from all groups. I don't believe everybody's racist. I just don't. I mean, I think some folks have that. I mean, if you grew up around everybody and you got friends and people like that, I don't think everybody's racist like that. That shit is taught to you. Somebody has to tell you that kind of stuff. You don't just automatically grow up to be a fucking racist. That has to be taught to you.
Well, I've said that before. Racism is absolutely taught. Yeah. It's not inherited. None of us are born racist. It's taught via our social standing, our families, what we learn on the media, which kind of really sucks because the media is making all of us even more racist, which is bullshit.
Well, the media has always done it. I mean, I know as a kid they would put on the most ignorant, unintelligent sounding black person just to paint the black community that way. I mean, the media has always done it. So that ain't really something new. The media has always portrayed us as just a shitty group of people. So, but I do agree the media has a big part in it.
And I would agree 100%.
But I don't believe if you got decent parents and a decent upbringing, you're not gonna. I don't think everybody's racist. I think that shit is taught to you. You got your uncle or your racist grandpa saying shit around you. Stay away from them people. You can't trust them. They steal and all. That's where that come from. Somebody is teaching that to you.
You know what? My parents never told me that. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and my parents never warned me, per se, about black folks, ever, or Puerto Ricans or Asians. The group that I grew up with, the people I associated with, put that shit in my head from a very young age, from 7 or 8. And my parents were very, very careful to say, and they were conservatives. They were very careful to say, don't believe your fucking friends. There's good and bad in everybody.
In my opinion, if your parents was concerned enough to tell you that, they probably should have tried to persuade you not to maintain a friendship with them. It sounded like your parents knew that they were putting bad ideas in your head.
Oh, they tried. But I was a kid that nobody was allowed to play with. I was the bad kid.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I was the bad kid that went and blew up sheds with fireworks and hopped on roofs and did bad stuff.
What do you do? Hanging out with the Timothy McVeighs of the world?
Every fucking day, dude. I bought a U-Haul truck when I was 9.
Are you for real? I gotta go. All right, Gen X. But good, interesting conversation. They're telling me I'm fluffing, but I got nothing but love for you in the show, man. I appreciate you coming through.
All right, brother. Much love. You have a great rest of your week, man. Much respect. And I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Roger that. All right, moving on with the program. What does that say? Are the majority of Fox News viewers racist? Says Mr. E. There's no way to know if the majority of them are. I'll tell you this, Bill O'Reilly, who I still follow to this day, recently stated that when he was on Fox News, 67% of the viewers were Republican. So he did have somewhat of a Democratic audience. I've been watching O'Reilly for 20 some years. So he did have plenty of Democrats. He said now in 2025, he said 95% of Fox News viewers are Republican. So it went from 67% to 95. He said 90% of them are MAGA. And he stated that Fox is the MAGA network. That's Bill O'Reilly said that. I was so surprised he said that. I ended up making a long form video on YouTube. I'm like, damn. But he said, if I'm Trump, I like this network. He came out and said it. And Bill O'Reilly's a longtime friend of Trump. Came out and admitted that his former network is, I don't think he really had to do it because everybody fucking knows already. But he came out and admitted his network is anything but fair and balanced. His former network, it is in the tank for Trump. If you watch any amount of news at all, you probably already know that. You hear a lot of MAGA saying you need to stop getting your news from CNN or MSNBC. They don't say that about Fox, but at least in my personal analysis, Fox News is far more biased to the right than CNN ever will be to the left. Far more. Fox News, I think they said they've had like 23 members of that network go straight from that network to the Trump administration or from the Trump administration to that network. CNN and MSNBC don't come close to those kind of numbers. Don't even come close to it. Most of those folks have been on Air Force One under Trump. Hannity and some of these folks got his personal phone number. They're at rallies. Fox News is essentially Trump TV. But the right will tell you all day long, quit getting your news from CNN or MSNBC, and they won't say shit about Fox. Fox News is as biased of a news network politically as they come. And like I said, I've been watching the network for 20-some years. It is way more biased than anything MSNBC. And MSNBC is fairly biased to the left. CNN was trying to be center. They're somewhat center left, but a lot of that on CNN has come from Trump constantly criticizing and attacking people on the network. You're going to naturally create a left-leaning network when you're just treating all the anchors like shit. Caitlin Collins has been attacked by Trump in the Oval Office asking questions several times. Nasty questions, stupid, your news is fake. I mean, they're not going to judge you fairly when you just constantly saying all kinds of crazy shit about them. You're making that network lean left because you're attacking them all. The journalists at that network are going to naturally start looking for stories to hurt you because you're saying, okay, you're embarrassing the fuck out of these people. But Fox leans very far to the right. Looking in the comments here, we'll continue on with MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Real quick in the comments before you bring, hang on a second, MAGA Reacts. I wanted, what does it says? I wanted to, said Sean Herbert. You wanted to come in, he wanted to be invited with Gen X. And High Priestess, thank you for your support. I want to make sure I answer these comments real quick. Supercell Fusion says, Super Gen X is super, super great. I want this guy and us to sit down and talk. This is nothing but love. I got love for both of us. And down, man, we love you, Tim. I'll take on the dinner and more. So there's a Supercell Fusion is agreeing with Gen X's offer. He continues to say, tell Gen X, please let me see you on Saturday Night Live. I want to see you and Tim on the Tonight Show. If they invited me. MAGA Reacts, good evening.
Shit, I'll go too, by the way.
Yeah, hey.
We'll have a barbecue, and we won't invite racist grandma.
Gangster grandma. You didn't get that right. Gangster
racist grandma.
Gangster.
The most racist person I've ever, heard on TikTok.
Well, she has a passionate opinion.
Let's look at this. I associate, racism with hate. and she hates everybody. So she's racist as fuck, as far as I'm concerned. Because even the last guy, I didn't catch his name, but with him, racism could be non-hateful stuff, like tribalism.
Yeah.
Because it's not always,
Yeah, that's Gen X. That's Gen X. Fuck around and find out.
It's tribalism. Yeah, I just couldn't think of the name. Even though I'm talking about meeting him for a barbecue or whatever with all you guys.
But you do see Gangsta Grandma as straight racist. And I seen a comment somebody say you triggered by her. What did that say? His mind body mystic coach says he's triggered by her. Are you triggered by Gangsta Grandma?
No, not at all. If anything, she's triggered by us.
Ooh.
Like I said, she's just full of hate. And as much as we're all MAGA, I don't think any of the MAGA people get on here and say how much we hate liberals and we hate this guy and we hate you for talking to a liberal. We don't hate anybody.
Yeah,
Name a single MAGA that got on here and told you how they hate people or of any kind.
I gotta correct you somewhat. You say MAGA don't get on here and talk about how much they hate liberals. Demon rats, Democrats. I mean, yeah, they say all kinds of hateful shit. I mean, I know being myself, who I only go in MAGA social forums. I don't even go in liberal gatherings.
I'm talking about this specific live. I'm not talking about other lives.
Oh,
okay. I'm only on here with you.
Well, I get if you're on my YouTube side of the aisle, I get plenty of folks on YouTube that are calling me a clown and saying you're a piece of shit. I don't censor any of them, but MAGA attacks too. MAGA says some awful shit as well. It's not just coming from the left.
You're twisting what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
Hating you personally is not being racist. That's just having a problem with you or what you're saying. I'm talking about just in general saying I hate all WT people or I hate all Trump voters. How are you going to hate people you don't even know? And, just general hate of people based on shit that they can't control. What you're saying is shit you can control, and I could say I don't like it. But, again, most of the MAGA people won't get on here and tell you, how we hate you and all that. We mostly say we love you. And this lady gets on here every day and says how much she hates you and hates everything and hates everybody.
Yeah, I don't get
maybe it does trigger me, because you're my friend and she's just, giving you a hard time for nothing.
Well, she genuinely believes that I'm letting I'm letting Trump supporters and MAGA say all kinds of things that would be like misinformation or hateful, and I'm not pushing back hard enough. She wants me to push back.
I mean, this is a conversation more than a debate. We're not on here to fight. We're on here to get to know each other. Unless you want to make it a fighting live, but I think there's plenty of lives we could get on and fight.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, I always say, we're talking civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle. And by the way, for folks who do enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. I'll just take a moment out to say, go ahead and subscribe if you enjoy this type of conversation from all sides. We speak to everybody here without any fear of being blocked, banned, or censored. If you favor this, follow us if you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, and if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a subscription. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, under the Trump administration, MAGA reacts there is a lot of things that the black community feel are stepping stones back into the world of racism or Jim Crow.
I think that's bullshit. Most of it is against illegal, mostly criminal migrants. I don't even think he's done anything specifically against black.
You think banning Haitian migrants that are in Springfield and sending them back, you think that's about crime?
I mean, that's about just an influx of migrant, more than we can handle.
That could be any.
Just about undoing.
That could be any random number, MAGA. That could just look. If you don't like a group of people, just say there's too many of them in here. I mean, that could be any random number.
I mean, is he sending them back or just stopping them?
I believe he's sending them back. In fact, I read an article. I had to look it up again, but I believe I read an article today that said they got 30 days or something like that. Yeah, he's trying to send them back.
No, know, wait till he actually sends them back, because you know I hate arguing shit he might do or he said he might thinking about or some random shit he fucking mutters, and all of a sudden it's like 20 articles about it, and then I take you guys seriously, and then I find out he hasn't done it. It was just some random shit he said, and it never gets done.
Well, you do got
a list of,
but you can't blame people for holding him accountable for what's coming out of his mouth, right?
Yeah, but you should know better by now. I mean, that's the difference between like the left and the right. The left gaslights, the right just flubs. Like, I could watch Fox News more than MSNBC because at least they're not trying to like gaslight me. Like, they're just fluffing what Trump does, but they're not gonna come on and tell you it's a good economy when it's like meh. Maybe they won't speak about the economy if it's shitty, but they're not gonna like straight up come up. They'll fluff everything that's good, but they won't lie to you about like what's wrong with the economy. You know what I mean? Like MSNBC and all these other channels were straight up coming on TV and telling everyone how great Biden's economy is when it wasn't.
You don't think Fox lies to you?
I think they fluff. They exaggerate up the little good or the little bad.
I'm literally watching.
But it's always based on a little bit of truth.
No, I'm literally watching Fox News January 6th, the evening of that, and Judge Jeanine Pirro, who's now part of the Trump administration, said that was Antifa. She's in the studio in New York telling folks on TV that what's going on in D.C. is happening at the hands of Antifa. That's just made that shit up. Now, we also know about the $750 million settlement with Dominion voting machines. Once again, they were trying to suggest those machines were switching votes from Trump to Biden. Fox News does lie. They had to correct the perception of Tucker Carlson and tell the people he's just for entertainment because he's not always telling the truth. You ever heard any of this?
I mean, those were conspiracies. Those were not straight out lies. They were not trying to brainwash into thinking that. Everybody was thinking, a lot of people thought that's what happened, and we wanted it looked into. And not me, though. I did not like that angle at all. The machines were hacked. That was never my angle.
You lost. Wait. You say conspiracies. Losing $750 million in court is not a conspiracy. That's a loss.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the truth. That's just what they were able to not prove in court.
What?
You know, the court's a funny thing. You can win millions over the smallest thing, or you could lose an arm and only get like $1,000. Court is just a whole different beast. It doesn't just because they won money in court. I mean, look at Trump now. He's winning money left and right against ABC and all these channels in court. Doesn't mean he's right. It just means he won in court.
Let me ask you, do you think that Fox News lied about Dominion voting machines at all?
I mean, yeah. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if it's proven true in the future.
How long do you give them to prove this shit? It's been 4 years, MAGA. How long do they get?
I mean, when there's so much secrecy and, you know, you don't have access to it. It's not an open thing, so you don't know what's true or not until someone goes in there and they spent 2 years on Russian collusion, and after 2 years, we were like, okay, there was no Russian collusion. They spent 2 weeks on this election. You know, if they had an independent investigator like Mueller spent 2 years on the machines and on the election period, I really don't think the machine thing is true, but if they would have had 2 year investigation like they did with Russia, and after 2 years, the independent inspector came out and said there was nothing, then we would have been fine. Why would you
spend 2 years investigating something, whereas the people that are alleged and have no legitimate reason for why they ever told you that? So in other words, they're going to just throw a bunch of spaghetti up against the wall, and it's your job to spend 2 years investigating whatever noodle that sticks. They should come to you and tell you, well, the machine that was in the polling place in the middle of Savannah, Georgia, that one is switching votes. You gave us nothing, and you want the people to just run around on a goose chase for 2 years trying to make what you say valid? That doesn't make any sense.
Just because one is to make the people, half the electorate, feel better that their vote is secure and the election wasn't stolen. Because no matter what, half the people would have thought the election was stolen. So it's to make the people feel better and not question the election even today. You know, like no legit person is questioning the Russian collusion anymore because we had a 2-year investigation. So we just had a 2-year investigation about Russia. That was a whole spaghetti stone on the wall bullshit. They threw everything on the wall with the Russian collusion and found nothing.
Well, but at least in the
election
Russian
that close.
No, but here's the difference though. In the Russian collusion, at least you did have Trump telling Russia if you got any of Hillary Clinton's emails to find them. You did have.
Come on, now you're gaslighting.
Hold on. Let me finish though. You did have Mueller, who did the 2-year investigation, come back and state, I don't have enough to convict or exonerate Trump. So he is saying that I don't have enough to say Trump is guilty, but I don't have enough to say he's innocent either. That's a lot different than this Dominion voting machine thing where it's based on nothing. They have nothing.
Yeah, except at least Mueller tried for 2 years. Fucking Bill Barr only tried for 2 weeks and then threatened to quit. And Trump, even if Trump tried to replace him, everybody threatened to quit just for Trump asking them to look into it. They all threatened to quit. They spent barely 2 weeks, a month at the most, because the election ended November 5th. By like December 5th, they all threatened to quit. So I don't know what you want me to say. If they would have spent even like 6 months on it, I would have been happy.
Well, here's the problem. They didn't just want the government to spend a year or 6 months looking into it. They wanted to also suspend the transition of power as if what they're saying is fact until proven otherwise. They weren't going to say, okay, you need to look into it, but until we find something, we got to keep running the country. They wanted to prevent Biden from becoming president based on what they were alleging with no proof.
No, Biden is still president because in the end, the states voted for him.
No, in the end,
that's all that matters.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with the states. As Mike Pence didn't carry out Trump's illegal order. That's why Biden was president.
No, but even if certain state, even like the election of one state is stolen, that doesn't matter because what matters is the state's vote, the electoral college. So even if the Florida or the Pennsylvania or the Georgia race is completely rigged, in the end the state voted for Biden, so he still won it that way.
Yeah, but why is
it's
Trump,
like a technical thing?
But why is Trump telling the vice president not to certify the election?
I mean, he's fucking grasping at straws to get more time to prove. I mean, he thought he didn't think it would take so long to fucking prove the election was stolen.
Well, it's going to take a long time to prove it when you're giving people nothing. When you're just saying they're closing polling windows, that doesn't say shit. Well, they closed the window at 7 o'clock. That doesn't say anything.
First of all, like Trump isn't supposed to investigate shit. The FBI is. And they only spent 2 weeks on it. They didn't seem enthusiastic about doing it. Like, it's not that simple. Like, everyone's like, why didn't Trump find the proof? Trump's not a fucking investigator. That's not his job. The FBI, Bill Barr, the DOJ, they're the ones that's supposed to investigate. And, it's a fucking spit in our face when after spending 2 years on Russia, they barely give us 2 weeks on the closest. This election was so close. 12,000 votes in Georgia, gave him Georgia, 10,000 in Arizona, 20,000 in Wisconsin. That's a very close election. They keep saying the popular vote, he lost by like 10, 20 million. That doesn't matter. It's the 10,000 votes in Arizona that matter.
I hear what you're saying, but the problem is, if some of the stuff you're saying already approves to be nothing burgers, you're ruining the credibility of Trump was claiming that so many different types of fraud was happening. And when you ask him, well, what is that based on? He has virtually nothing. So at some point, your credibility is going to be shot. Maybe if he only went with Dominion voting machines or he only went with mail-in voting, maybe you could then give a proper investigation to the length of time you're talking about. But when he's got you going on all these wild goose chases, you know how much time that would take to do all of that? I mean, he was claiming fraud in every damn thing. I mean,
Okay. You know where he learned it from?
Doesn't matter. He has no business using it.
From the Democrats and the Russian collusion.
Okay, that doesn't...
He watched the Democrats do it for 2 years. And you don't think he's going to copy them?
Now, if he's a good guy and he think what they did to him is wrong, he wouldn't copy
it. Who said Trump was a good guy? I have never even said such a thing.
Oh my God. Well, at the end of the
that's the
day,
difference.
you can't just make up allegations and then expect folks to hold up the election because we're 4 years out. And hold on, we're 4 years. Hold on. We're 4 years out, and there is no evidence at all to suggest that Mike Pence should have held that election up.
Okay, let me rephrase. I didn't mean it to go that way. I'm just basically what I'm trying to say is I didn't want the election to be held. I even wanted to give it to fucking Biden because officially he won because the states, in the end, all that matters is who the states vote for. And in the end, the states voted for him, so give him the election. But even as a winner, so you don't have a civil war, they should have spent at least 6 months to a year investigating the election just to make the right feel better.
You're not gonna make the right feel better when Trump is saying he won. I don't care what the investigation comes up with. Trump is going to continue saying he won. He's had multiple recounts in states like Georgia, and he's still saying he won Georgia. He's hired his own independent auditors to do recounts in Arizona, and they told him you actually lost by more votes than we originally thought. He's saying he won Arizona. So it doesn't matter if you give him a 2-month or 2-year investigation. He's going to say I won at the end of the day, no matter what. He's going to keep saying he won.
Do you don't think there's a difference between an auditor and an FBI investigator?
I don't think there's any
count the same votes. An investigator could actually follow clues and look into the votes and verify votes. An investigator, especially with the government behind him, has way more access.
I don't think there's
that's the biggest
anything.
joke. We have no access, and we're told to find the proof. We have no access. We have
I don't
no power.
think there is anything.
We have no subpoenas.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything they can do with that election other than tell him he won that he would be satisfied with. Anything they do that's less than that, if they come back saying he lost.
That's not.
Hold on. I don't care if it's 2 weeks or 20 years. If they come back and say he lost, he's going to say you didn't look into this. You didn't do that right. You didn't spend. He believes he won, and I think O'Reilly said that as well. He said Trump believes he won, and there's nothing that would ever change his mind because he went and talked to him. He told him
again. That's the other thing you guys keep getting wrong. It's not about Trump. It's about all the people who believe the election was too close and could have easily been stolen because it was so close.
Where the hell did he get that from?
At all. It's about the people that voted for him to show them that their vote wasn't stolen from them.
Where the hell
it's
they
about
get
the
that
voters,
from?
Not Trump.
Those people who believe the election.
That's how I feel. I voted for him, and I care if my vote was stolen because somebody defrauded the fucking system.
I agree with you there, but the fact is, the reason people believe their votes might have been. The reason people believe their votes might have been tainted with is because of what Trump said. You look at January 6th.
No.
Hold on. You look at January 6th. That's only 2 months and 2 days from that election. There's no way in hell those people that were there acting like that at the Capitol building have any solid proof at all. The investigations were still going on. Yet they are acting a fool because they think their votes were stolen. That ain't based on nothing but what they're being told. There's no evidence only 2 months out for them to be storming the building and going after Pence and all of them. They're going based solely on what they're being told. Zero evidence. Go ahead.
Listen. It's based on what we saw with our own eyes.
What did you see?
The election was close. People were getting kicked out of voting centers. People on the right that are supposed to supervise the votes were getting kicked out of Fulton County voting centers. All the places, the election came down to 4 counties, and every one of them had weird things happening, like the pipes in Atlanta bursting, and we had news there, and they were blocking the windows of the voting place. Why block the windows like you're hiding something? And then they only spent 2 weeks investigating. This is what we saw with our eyes. Everyone keeps saying, oh, Trump said this and Trump said that. I think it was the opposite. I believe that people convinced Trump that this election was stolen.
You sound like fucking.
I saw the numbers myself.
You sound like 2,000 mules. Where you see all of the stuff you're saying you saw with your eyes. What was happening in Republican districts? Well, I don't know. We didn't look in those districts to see was they closing offices or closing windows. If you only go in Democratic areas, that's where you're going to find all the suspicion. Is it possible that they close polling windows in Republican areas? I don't know. We didn't look. Just like 2,000 Mules, they go to
No, it doesn't.
yeah, 2,000
It doesn't
Mules.
affect
In
it.
2,000 Mules, they went to Wisconsin. They went to Milwaukee. They go to Georgia. They go to Atlanta. They go to Michigan. They go to Detroit. They're going to Democratic areas. So what's going on in Savannah, Georgia? We don't know. We didn't check. So of course, all the suspicious shit you see
No,
is in Democratic areas.
Can I explain it to you? Okay. Republicans have to vote in 20 different precincts to match the one fucking precinct, one of the precincts that the Democrats vote in. So Fulton County on its own is equal to 20 different precincts. That means you have to defraud 20 different places. You have to like rig the votes in 20 different places with 20 different people and too many people. Whereas Fulton County, you just have to play with the fucking votes in one place. That's the difference, because the other ones didn't. Because first of all, you would need 20 to match just one corrupt person in Fulton County fucking with the votes. So, and then also Fulton County in like Pennsylvania and Georgia, you know, fucking what's her name? The lady from Georgia was complaining about the lady that ran for governor and kept losing and kept saying the election was stolen.
You're talking about Stacey Abrams.
And yeah, I mean, the 4 years before that election, all she did was complain that the fucking shit was rigged, stole her election. And on the news before the election, all I read was articles about how Pennsylvania has election fraud problems. And then when this shit happened, and all the problems happened in just 4 precincts, and it's not just that it was those 4 specific precincts, he outperformed Obama. Like, Biden was not like, you know, it wasn't like Obama where he came in and you understood why Obama won, because Obama did well everywhere. Biden did okay everywhere, and just in those 4 precincts, he fucking skyrocketed to like a level that Democrats have never achieved
I'm just going to say this. Because he made so many allegations, from polling places being closed, ballot harvesting, you saw that on 2,000 Mules, dead people voting, illegal immigrants voting. If he had proof of any of these things, it's been 4 years. You can't give solid evidence of any of these different things you allege, not even one of them. So for you to say you won by a landslide, if he said, look, there looks like there's some suspicion.
I never said that.
He said that. Trump said that.
Honestly, I haven't even brought up a single thing Trump has said. I'm not even talking about Trump. I'm talking about my experience of what I saw with my own eyes. Not once have they mentioned Trump said this or Trump said that. I'm just talking about what I saw with my own eyes and what I would like to have happen for me to be reassured that this really close election. It's like in basketball. Remember basketball like 10 years ago? They would have all these funny calls in the last 2 minutes, and people would steal games by like hiding the ball from the ref. And you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard, yeah.
Now you could call it. Now you could actually challenge the play and use one of your timeouts to challenge the play and have the shit actually reviewed. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, I'm sick of these elections get called by the refs. I want to be able to challenge it and be like, look, this one was close. It's a 2-point. It wasn't like that they ran away with it. It was like a 2-point fucking win. I want a challenge where you spend more than 2 weeks looking at the fucking election. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about what Trump said. This is what I saw with my own eyes.
I'm talking about Trump because he's the one that sparked all this. To me, he lost credibility when he chose not to say that the election looks suspicious and we need to have some investigations, and chose to instead say I won by a landslide. Even if the Democrats won by, let's say the Democrats had 10 or 15,000 fraudulent votes, but they won the election by 50,000 votes. Well, 10,000 fraudulent votes mean now you didn't win by 50,000. You only won by 40,000. But you still won. You can't just automatically assume that fraud equals you won by a landslide. Trump lost his credibility when he jumped up and just said he won the whole thing with no proof. So from that point on, anything you say has little to no credibility, because you, just like your basketball example, if you see something that looks shady towards the end of the game, you don't just jump up and say you won the motherfucker. You say that something looks shady, we need to. He jumped up and said he won. That's what messed everything up.
The integrity of the game has nothing to do with who won or lost. Like,
the integrity of the president.
you keep putting this on Trump, but that's just Trump. Trump's going to be Trump. I'm talking about, what about after Trump? This is going to happen every time you have a close election.
People
it's
died, MAGA.
2000.
You say Trump going to be Trump. Somebody died that day because of what he said to those people. Somebody lost their life. People went to prison for that shit. Trump going to be Trump. He destroyed people's lives.
Listen, even without Trump's support, people would have been there protesting the election.
No.
Just like 2000. 2000 was such a close election. Even till today, people think Al Gore should have been president.
If Trump had, I disagree with you. If Trump had not got on the internet and said, come to Washington, Steve Bannon talking about it's going to be wild and all of that, stop the steal. If they hadn't done all of that, them people wouldn't have been there like that. That would not have happened. Maybe a few people here or there, but busing and taking planes from all over the fucking country and getting hotel rooms, that would not have happened if he hadn't told those people to come there. That was orchestrated by him. I'll give you the last word.
Look, even with your example, if the Democrats would have won by 40,000 votes, because Trump only won in 2016 by 40 or 50,000 votes. He only won this last election by like 50 to 100,000 votes in most states. Even then, you'd be like, okay, it's hard to fucking defraud 50,000 votes. But because, it's only 10,000 votes and 12,000 votes, just like 2000, this election is always going to be in question. Especially since it had an extra 20 million voters that didn't show up in 2024. The so-called 7 million voters that didn't come back, those fucking lend more credibility to the fact that that election was
that election is always going to be in question in the eyes of MAGA. Everybody else, different story, but I gotta go. Appreciate it.
Same as 2000.
Good luck. All right, moving on with the program. I see somebody says CNN is way worse than Fox. Once again, that's because Trump tells you that. And Trump ain't going to tell you how biased Fox News is for him. He's just going to tell you about CNN. So, yeah, of course you're going to say CNN is way worse than Fox. Looking in the comments here. Okay, I got a Demo Craps. Is that what that says? Demo Claps? It's a dig or an insulting dig at Democrats. How is this pronounced? Demo Craps, Demo Shits, Democrats, LOL. Yes, it's right, Tim. Yeah, the different names. Yeah, there's a lot of insulting names toward the Democratic Party. And of course, you're going to get communists, socialists, fascists, Marxists. All of the bad ISTs are going to go to the Democratic Party as well. With the exception, you don't hear anybody calling the Democrats capitalists. They're all the other bad ISTs, as if one group can be all of these at once, which is insane. And I will say it has been effective. That's what led the legalized Venezuelans and Cubanos to vote for Trump, is after fleeing a communist dictatorship in their own home countries. The last thing they wanted to do was vote for another communist leader here. And they were convinced that the Democratic Party under Biden or Kamala Harris were going to be communists. And so they voted for Trump. My guess is education in those communities have changed. And my guess is certainly that, because Trump, I don't think any Cuban immigrant, or let's say Cuban that, born in America but has Cuban ancestry, born in America but has Venezuelan ancestry, and they could vote. I don't think any of them thought Trump was going to do what he's doing. I thought it was truly a matter of getting rid of bad hombres and clearing our country of criminals. I don't think any of them thought old ladies and high school teenagers on the way home from school were going to be getting rounded up and shit like that. I don't think any of them thought that. Because he didn't campaign on that. He didn't campaign on doing that. He campaigned on getting out the bad hombres, racist murderers, MS-13, Tren de Agua. And once he got in office, it became a matter of, we're going to get everybody out of this country that's here illegally. Now we're going to get everybody out of this country that has any reason we can find that we can deem as worthy of kicking them out. I don't care if it's a crime or a misdemeanor they committed 20 years ago, as I brought up. If there is a reason you can find to kick them out, use that reason and kick them out. He didn't campaign on none of that. Handsome, you are the only liberal I tolerate listening to. I even subscribe. Dr. Luke, I do appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the program. We'll try to keep it entertaining, and certainly appreciate your support. I just dropped my damn remote, but we do appreciate the support. So thank you there, Dr. Luke. Somebody said, Luke, you smoking pastas, granny's stain. What the hell? Tim, you're in a bubble. I don't think you talk to many Hispanic Americans. Draco, I don't think I need to talk to many Hispanic Americans. I don't think that any group of people would continue to support a president that was doing to their community what the Trump administration is doing to those communities. If you put Obama in there and all of a sudden white people were getting rounded up, the few white people, I mean, there was a bunch of whites that voted for Obama. They wouldn't vote for him no more. I mean, there are a lot of people that are being rounded up and deported. Some people being detained and held for months that are actual citizens and shit like that. Nothing to do with, bad hombres or committing rape. I mean, grandmothers and shit like that. You telling me the Hispanic community is okay with that? They don't have a problem with that at all. He's just trying to do the right thing, huh? Just grabbing anybody, going into schools and shit, grabbing people, churches, all of that. They don't open up the law so they can go anywhere now. Going into work sites and stuff like that. These ain't killers they going and getting. If these folks were as violent as you might think, they would be telling you that. They are going after everyone that they can deport. Doesn't matter if you have no criminal, as they say, the crime you committed was coming here illegally. I don't care if you came here illegally 50 years ago, you qualify. Or in some cases, even people with permanent residence, and you're coming up with reasons. I mean, they're getting everybody. So I don't think the Hispanic community is looking at that and saying, "Yay, go Trump." I just don't see it. And I don't agree with you either in the comments there, Mr. Long Island or New York Long Island. He says they broke the law. Too bad, because all of them ain't breaking the law. He said they broke the law, bro. Too bad. They're not all breaking the law. Some people are being detained because they didn't fill out their visa information right and other shit like that. All of these folks, I mean, some of these folks are citizens of the country. So no, it's really, really heavy-handed. It's really heavy-handed. And I will just say it like this. Even when you say they broke the law, I mean, let's say, for instance, they passed a law that allowed you to chop off somebody's hand for shoplifting. Break the law, you lose a hand. Or for stealing. You're a thief, you lose your damn hand, you get caught stealing. And all of a sudden, you got somebody who's 70 years old, and they come to their house and they want to chop their hand off because they found out, they went into a store and stole a purse back in 1987. Somebody's grandma, the person that's been nice in the community, all the kids, she comes, she bakes some cookies and shit. If it was a dear old, nice, kind white lady, I don't think America would be like, yeah, chop the bitch hand off. I don't see that. But with these immigrants, yes, 25 years ago, so what? She got to go. It is targeted anger towards this community that I don't think we would have if it was other people from the community. I just don't see it. I remember when, can't remember the guy's name, but he was an American. He went to Singapore and he broke the law over there, and they wanted to cane his ass, beat his ass with a stick. America was not talking about you broke the law, you deserve what's coming to you. They were trying to stop him from being caned. He ended up getting that ass kicking. But America was totally against him being caned. They were trying to stop that. They weren't saying he broke the law, let it happen to him. Wow, thank you for that star there, Ron. Appreciate that. Rainbow mini star. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, so all of a sudden, it's certain people we don't care. Like when Brittany Griner got caught in Russia with a small bit of cannabis, oh, that bitch can serve for life. No, I had MAGA online. We were talking about that during the Biden trade. Biden traded a Russian operative to get Brittany Griner back. MAGA was like, she should have stayed over there for life for a little bit of cannabis. A little bit of cannabis. You're in Russia, you broke the law, you deserve it. Meanwhile, you're okay with Trump pardoning murderers and shit. You don't see the hypocrisy in any of this? Any of this, you don't see no hypocrisy. So I think it's selective anger, disgust, or even hate in some cases to certain groups of people. I just can't see if we had Reese Witherspoon or somebody like that dealing with some shit like this that we would be okay with it. But if it's something, It's some brown looking lady, it suddenly seems to be okay. I do see a tad bit of hatred in that. There's never time to read these bills. Washington does this on purpose. I remember doing the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, but Nancy Pelosi said we got to pass the bill and then read it first. And the right went ape shit about the notion of passing a bill without reading it. Well, it's happening again now, and it's on the Republican side. And the outrage is not as heavy this time. You got people showing up in town halls admitting they ain't read the shit. Just went through followed Trump right on into it. But when Nancy Pelosi was talking about passing the bill without reading it, people were pissed off. See how the table turns? Everyone came from somewhere except for the native Indians. There's a lot of, well, the Aborigines in Australia. Most countries have a native group of people that lived there first. That's everywhere. Victor Boyd was the guy that Victor Bout was the guy exchanged for Brittany Griner. His nickname was the Merchant of Death. The movie Lord of War with Nicolas Cage is based on him. Yeah, that was a good movie, by the way. And I get the point is that you gave back a genuine bad guy for Brittany Griner. But if we're going to suggest that you shouldn't trade anybody for Brittany Griner that is committed, we don't hold people for nothing that mild. I mean, what Brittany Griner got held for in Russia, we wouldn't even hold a Russian for nothing like that. So whoever we trade for her is going to be somebody who committed a worse crime because we don't hold nobody for nothing that light. She had like a personal use amount of marijuana or something like that. We wouldn't hold nobody and give them a 15-year prison sentence for that shit. So the only way you're going to get it back is to trade a far worse criminal because that's all we have in stock from Russia. Everybody we got in stock have committed some pretty bad crimes. We don't keep stock of people who had personal use of marijuana. We don't arrest people for that shit. That was a political arrest to begin with, by the way. There should be a law against voting on a bill without reading it. Well, if you passed a law that required they read a bill before voting on it, they just wouldn't tell you they didn't read the shit. That's all it would happen. You would just make it so they lied to you. So Tim, am I still crazy? Yes. Timoteo, is that Timmy Tim? Yeah, Timmy Tim. I haven't had you on the show in a while. You're always welcome on the show, but yeah, you're still crazy. You still believe that Trump wrote a second Declaration of Independence, and you believe that Hillary Clinton was unalived and Joe Biden is no longer alive. You're still crazy. You're cute. Yeah, you're still crazy in some areas. Sane in others, but crazy in some. Real quick, what does that say? Except Russ. I don't know what that means. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. I'm sure there's other American citizens in jail for similar reasons in Russia. He didn't get the same help as Griner, and she hates your country. Sheldon, I don't look. One of the things you hear from the right often is people hating America. I thought the right was about the Constitution and freedom and shit like that. But anytime somebody is critical of America or says something the right doesn't like, you hate your damn country. Trump gets up there and says the military is dilapidated, we're the laughing stock, talks about how awful the president is, refers to whole American towns as shitholes, and he doesn't hate America at all. But somebody else gets up there and says the police are mistreating black people and they hate America. That's selective outrage, in my opinion. If you believe certain statements can mean somebody hates America, then you would definitely have to put Trump in that category because he said some vile shit about large sections of the country, large whole sections, California and blue states. I mean, he said some pretty vile shit about heads of state and all of that, sitting senators and governors and generals and shit. If you can believe somebody hate America, you don't see it coming out of Trump, you're just being biased because he said some pretty vile shit. Now, the hate America thing, the reason why I don't like it is because of I remember it starting a lot with the Iraq War. People who might be older might think of the Vietnam War. The liberals were told they were not patriots, they hated America, all of that shit, because they were against the Iraq War. If you don't like the country, you need to fucking leave. Now, looking back in history, the liberals were clearly right about that war. Clearly right about that. The right, you had Bill O'Reilly with what is called freedom fries, boycotting France because they didn't want to participate. All of that. Looking back historically, the right was banning fucking Dixie Chicks. They didn't like Cindy Sheehan because she lost a child in that war and was protesting it. All the liberals were patsies and unpatriotic because they were protesting what turned out to be a clear, unnecessary war that led to the deaths of 6,000 plus Americans, disfigured, mentally destroyed, tens of thousands of other service personnel, and over 1 million in that region died. Yet the liberals hated America for that. The right has this mindset, either my way or fuck you. If you think the country's involved in an unnecessary... And by the way, Trump is on record as saying the Iraq War is the dumbest mistake in U.S. history. He's on record as saying that. So it turns out the liberals actually had that one right. Think about that. Suckers and losers, says KB. If you don't like what she says, you can listen to some music when she talks. What the hell does that mean? She's just as articulate as Kamala. Who are you referring to? Anyhow, folks, I do gotta do what I normally do. And how they treated veterans even now, cutting funding for fun. Yeah, Elon Musk. I tend to think if the Democrats do succeed in the midterms and get a supermajority or something like that, Elon, they're gonna go after Elon. They're gonna. I think that, and I'm hoping I'm wrong on this, but I do believe there's a lot of insider trading that has happened with this administration, telling you it's a good time to buy now, and then the next day he fucks with the tariffs. People are making a killing, other people are losing a killing. I do believe that if the Democrats do well in the midterms, there are going to be some people they're going to come after. That whole cryptocurrency thing that Trump has his own coin and Kamala Harris has her own coin, they're going to rip into that. They're going to rip into that and look into that. We need to know who's been giving you money and influence. All of that's going to come into play. I think that if Trump doesn't win in the midterms, the last 2 years of his term won't be anything but court dates and testimony. There won't be anything more than that. All of these federal employees, they got cases how they got fired for no reason at all. They received letters talking about they were not measuring up to performance when they had no performance review. All of the contracts people had with the federal government guaranteeing payment, and they just reneged on all of that stuff's going to come up. All of that stuff. I mean, it's just going to be court dates, I believe, in the second half of his administration. It's going to be a mess because of how bad so many people were treated. And of course, there'll be right and left fighting about it. But he really, for the success of his legacy, for the success of his presidency, he absolutely needs the Republicans to win the midterms. If he loses the midterms, he'll be lucky to complete the 4 years. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. As always, thank you for the 77,000 likes. Unfortunately, I got to step up and go to work in the morning like the rest of you folks, and I'm still a bit under the weather, but thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed Civilized Dialogue from all sides of the hour, what do I say? Give your boy a subscription on YouTube, horizontal, YouTube vertical. Same if you're watching on Instagram Live or TikTok. But until tomorrow, see you then. Have a good night. And if I can get everything right, what the hell just kicked in there? Oh, interesting. I don't know why that started playing like that.